The Fred Allen Show. An hour of smiles with Fred Allen, folks. 3,600 seconds of fun and music. Fun with our star comedian, Fred Allen. With our guest, a representative from the Statue of Liberty, David Ledmere. Music with Peter Van Steeden, the Merrimacs, and Win Murray. The time has come. It's the Fred Allen Show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, A is for Allen, who comes every week. B's for the bags hanging down on each cheek. C's for the comedy he's been rehearsing. And D is for Duck. Here comes Fred in person.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations to you, Harry, on finally mastering your ABCs.
Oh, thanks.
Why didn't you do the rest of the alphabet? You're going so well there, I thought you'd continue.
Is there more to it?
Oh, haven't you heard, Harry?
Oh, no. Gee, I didn't get any farther than college, Fred.
Oh, you only got up to D, a Dartmouth man, huh? Well, would you like to hear at this late age, would you like to hear the rest of the alphabet, Harry?
Yeah, what is the next letter, Fred?
Well, to a musician, it's E flat, but to us, it's E. E for their ears, listeners find full of corn. F for the fanfares, Peter blows on his horn. G's for the gags we hope will go well. H, our announcer, Herschel von Zell.
Oh. Well, that's fine. Now for the news. Peter!
No, wait a minute. Wait, don't put the fanfare in there. I'm not through yet, Harry.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
I for Ipana, whose praises we sing. J is the jibe that the Merrimacs swing. K is the key that Win Murray reaches. L is what Van Steeden looks like in a tuxedo that doesn't match his breeches. I had to rush in for the meter. The meter was a little rushed it together.
Well, that's fine. Now for the news. Peter!
Now, wait, no, Harry. I am not finished.
Well, it's my mistake. Go ahead, Fred.
M is for Portland, so pretty and chic.
M is for Portland?
Portland, Maine, Harry.
O.
No, not O, Harry. The next letter is N. You gave yourself away. It was there I knew you were a Dartmouth man when you put O after M. But the next letter is N.
Oh, well, N, I know what that is for. That's for the news. Peter!
See, I never saw a man take so much time to get ready to play so little, did you? All right, I give up the whole thing. The Ipana News presents The World in Review. New York City, New York. Community Service Society Committee on Housing publishes preliminary report on rooming house situation in Manhattan. Report based on survey of 75 typical rooming houses shows lack of sufficient beds and bathtubs for tenants, law violations in regard to cooking rooms, and serious overcrowding. Ipana News conducts its own rooming house survey to get the true facts. First, a rooming house tenant, Mr. Yandel Baxter. Now, Yandel, have you found conditions crowded?
Crowded? Brother, I lived in places so packed, I come out narrow-minded.
I was wondering why your head came to a point there, and I couldn't that explain it.
Yeah, it's brutal. Me and the wife just checked out of a joint, the Beckoning Arms down on 8th Street.
The Beckoning Arms, that was the name of the place. Well, what were your accommodations?
Well, we had the bridal suite.
The bridal suite?
Yeah, it was the southeast half of the northwest corner of a 9-family room.
There were 9 families in the one room?
Yeah, they had lines painted on the floor for privacy.
Well, did the people stay inside of their lines?
Everything was okay till the guy living in the center of the room gets up in the middle of the night and starts painting new lines.
He was altering his boundaries?
Yeah. First thing anybody knew, he'd blitzkrieg 6 inches south.
What happened?
A plebiscite busted out.
Really?
Yeah, the guy by the window Anschlussed the family by the door. The guy on the downtown side threw up a Maginot Line. And the guy in the corner started dropping leaflets on everybody.
Did you retreat?
Me and the wife run the blockade without getting supple.
And now you are living elsewhere?
Oh, yeah. We got a room of our own now. It's a converted broom closet.
Well, Well, isn't that rather stuffy?
Yeah, I don't mind. But the wife is starting to crave.
Why?
On account of the boarder.
Oh, you have a boarder in the closet.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad, but he's a musician.
A musician?
Yeah, when he brings his band home to practice, the wife has to get up on the shelf with her grandfather.
Well, obviously you've got no room for complaint. And thank you, Mr. Yandel Baxter. A young lady who had a peculiar experience as a result of rooming house congestion is Miss Gladys Snavely. What happened? You found it, did you? What happened, Miss Snavely?
This is one for the book.
Well, you don't say. What occurred?
Well, last week I moved into this rooming house.
Uh-huh.
They get me a room on the same floor as the bathtub.
That makes it very convenient. Now,
Are you kidding?
well, not knowing the place, I don't.
Brother, getting down that hall to the bathtub is like running interference for Notre Dame.
You always have trouble, do you?
Let me give you an incident.
Do. I wish you would.
Last week I had a date with a fella.
Uh-huh.
It's Saturday night, so I figure I'll take me a bath.
Good for you.
I go down the hall with me bubble soap and a towel.
Bubble soap and a towel.
Well, the door's locked.
Uh-huh.
Some dame is splashing around in the tub and singing, Ma, he's making eyes at me.
You withdrew to your room, did you?
Yeah. I'm sitting there with my ear cocked when I hear the water gurgling out of the tub.
Uh-huh.
The bathroom door opens and make a dash for it.
And?
Zip, the old maid from across the hall beats me by a sponge.
Oh. You withdrew once more, of course.
Yeah. Again I hear the water gurgling. Again I...
And?
Bang! The fuller brush man in the next room trips me up with a sample and slams the bathroom door.
You were mad, of course.
I'm berserk.
Berserk.
So I sticks me head out at the window and I hollers, fire! Fire!
A brilliant move.
Yeah. Well, fire engines start screaming down the street. All the roomers run out of the house. I'm alone at last.
What did you do?
I scoffed down the hall with me bubble soap and me towel.
Uh-huh.
The bathroom's empty. In I go. I turn on the faucet.
And?
Nothing comes out.
Nothing?
The fire chief cut off the water. He's playing it on the building.
And you didn't get your bath?
What do you think, mister?
At a hasty glance, I would say no.
Oh, wise guy, huh?
That is putting it mildly, and thank you, Miss Gladys Snavely. And now a man who bids fair to become a permanent pest on this program, poet Thorndyke Swinburne. Now, Thorndyke, you have been thrown out of here twice.
Yes,
Once out the 49th Street exit,
yes,
and the other time the 50th Street door.
yes.
Now, what do we have to do to get rid of you permanently, Thorndyke?
Oh, the eternal question.
It has been asked before.
And will be asked again. To know me is to loathe me.
You are a keen judge of character, Thorndyke.
Thank you.
Now, why are you here tonight?
I have written a new poem. It's dedicated to a crowded rooming house.
And what is it called?
A crowded rooming house.
Fine. Nice twist you have on it. Go right ahead.
A crowded rooming house. It takes a heap of people to make a house a heap. And when a heap of people is heaped up in their sleep, the heap that's heaped up sleeping is just a heap asleep. But the sleep that's sleeped up is sleeping by the heap that is asleep. Is a heap and sleeping. And I don't mean sleeping heap. Heap, heap.
You made several mistakes there, but fortunately in a poem like that, no one will ever know. This is the... including yourself, I take it. That was the end.
Yes, you may throw me out now.
Always a pleasure.
Throw me out the 6th Avenue door. I'm going cross town.
Yes. We'll throw you as far as Lindy's. You can stop off there. And thank you for a distressing few minutes. And now to show how crowded some of the New York theatrical rooming houses are, Ipana News dramatizes the recent experience of an actor who engaged a room. The scene, the front hall in Ma Brody's theatrical rooming house. A meek little actor is in the hall inquiring from Ma Brody about accommodations.
I want to get a room, Ma Brody.
Are you an actor?
Yeah, I'm a sword swallower.
Working?
I'm opening with the floor show at the Automat Monday.
Okay. I'm a little crowded, but you can have this room off the hall, number 7.
Thanks, Ma. I'll see you later. Oh, boy, what a break. The house is crowded. I grabbed this big room all to myself. Well, I may as well hang me coat in the closet.
Yeah? What's on your mind, Bud?
Who are you guys?
Culpepper and McGee, Bud. We're living in here.
In the closet?
Yeah, beat it, Bud. We're rehearsing.
Yeah, who was that lady I seen you?
That's a laugh. 2 guys sleeping in the closet. Well, I'll hang my coat in the bathroom.
Hey, closing the door kindly.
Who are you?
I am Podolsky, the Russian baritone. I am living in here.
In the bathroom?
In Russian, this is the parlor. Ah, you.
Well, there's one thing. I ain't gonna be lonesome in here. I'll stuff my coat in this bureau drawer.
Hey, close that drawer.
Well, I'll be... Who are you?
I'm Major Pee-wee, the midget.
And you're living in that bureau drawer?
Not so loud. You'll wake up my 8 brothers.
Hey, this is getting ridiculous. I'm getting in the bed. At least nobody can bother me there.
Hey, get off my head.
What are you doing in my bed?
I'm living in here, Bud. Scram.
What is this? Ma Brody! Ma Brody!
What's the fuss? Who's made that noise? Oh, it's you.
Hey, what kind of a joint is this?
I told you I was crowded. What are you kicking about?
Listen, I don't mind them 2 guys in the closet. I ain't complaining about that Russian in the bathroom and the midgets in the drawer. But when I gotta sleep with a total stranger...
What stranger?
This guy in bed here.
Oh, that's Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, meet the new roomer.
Oh, glad to meet you, Bud.
I'm glad to know you, Brown. Move over.
The Town Hall Tea Shoppy, always on the alert for some startling innovation, announces the addition of an educated talking waiter. The singing kind were merely entertaining. Now, the new ones are guaranteed to be instructive as well. Now, tonight we bring you a preview of the new waiting technique. The scene, the tea shoppy.
Good evening, sir. May I suggest this table over here?
Thanks. Got a menu?
Here you are, sir. And may I remind you that in the year 872, Howard the Fair-Haired broke the power of the Norwegian chiefs in Iceland?
Is that right? How's the hamburger?
Excellent. You know, of course, that Einstein's theory of relativity assumes that the velocity of light...
Yeah, that's been spinning around in my pretty head for some time. So you just run along and get me some hamburgers, some mashed potatoes, some creamed carrots, and a cup custard pronto.
Certainly, sir. But may I point out that those are all soft foods?
Say, Harry, that lady just came in. Would you like to read the other commercial over? That lady just came in here.
I have filed it under 1.
Haven't you? Good evening, sir. May I suggest this table over here? Thanks, got a menu. You and I can do it.
Well, all right.
Well, we'll get you read it to her when we get through. And now our guest. Hello, Portland.
Hello.
Gee, I didn't see you come in. You just get here?
No, I've been over helping the Merrimacs.
Helping the Merrimacs financially?
No, they need some new words, so I made some up.
New words for what?
For their songs. All their songs have the same words.
Oh, that's silly. The Merrimacs sing different songs every week.
Yes, but in the middle of the songs, they always say the same words.
What words?
Watten, datten, batten, scatten, hatten, gatten, pa.
Oh, I see. What? You told me to wait there. I waited. Now, so you just want me to wait to relax. It's nice of you. The thought is nice. If you're waiting for results, you should tell me, too, and set a limit. What, these words, what were those words again there that you have,
Watten, datten, batten, scatten, hatten, gatten, pa.
That was better than the first time, wasn't it? It was shorter, which made it better automatically. Well, what new words have you written in now to take the place of watten, datten, batten, scatten, hatten, gatten?
Wheatin, deatin, beatin, skeetin, heatin, deatin, poo.
Well, that last word sums it up nicely.
Pooh?
And I do mean what you said. Well, now that you've given the Merrimacs that Wheaton, Beaton, Durstein, and Osborne routine, I think I think you've written yourself out. You should give up lyric writing as of now. Isn't there some other hobby you could cultivate?
Well, this is leap year, but I'm too young for that.
Ah, yes. Leap year is rather a risky 12-month for the unattached male, isn't it?
That's what you men say. Girls have their troubles leap year, too.
What troubles? They put a little lipstick on the bait, and they're ready to troll.
Well, I saw a girl run up to a policeman today.
To propose?
No. She said, "Officer, there are 2 men following me. Make the little one stop."
That's very good, but not the way you tell it. But I'd like to hear someone tell that sometime.
Do you know how leap year got its name?
Yes, I know. Why don't you put a weight on your tonsils and keep your voice in one place? Yes, I know how leap year got its name. It comes every 4 years. Every 4th year, the president, you know, is up for re-election, and somebody else tries to leap into the White House.
This may not turn out to be leap year after all.
Well, nobody seems to know. The way it looks, though, I wouldn't sell my fireplace. Now, what about, that's probably our guest star's reception. We shouldn't construe it. Now, what about our guest star, by the way?
Well, last week I went down to see the Statue of Liberty, and I learned so many things about the statue.
Oh, now, wait, you haven't brought the Statue of Liberty here tonight.
No, but I have brought a man who knows all there is to know about the statue.
Really?
Mr. Allen, meet Mr. David Ludmira.
Well, good evening, Mr. Ludmira.
Good evening, Fred.
I hope Portland hasn't dragged you away from your chores at the Statue of Liberty for this little tete-a-tete.
No, Fred. I'm not on duty at night, but the statue is in good hands.
Ah, that sure is a weight off my mind. I thought Miss Liberty might be out there in the harbor tonight without a chaperone. You know, with all those boys floating around.
Well, there's nothing to worry about, Fred.
Fine. Now, before we start, Mr. Ludmira, may I ask, what is your official position at Bedloe's Island?
I'm an assistant to Mr. George A. Palmer, the superintendent, Fred.
And what are your duties?
Well, I have charge of the office work and finances, and occasionally I guide visitors around the statue.
Well, how long have you been a member of Miss Liberty's supporting cast?
Since 1936.
1936. That was the year Alf Landon left Kansas with the big flower, and New York left Tammany with the little flower. Now, first on our fact parade, how did the Statue of Liberty ever get into the middle of New York Harbor? It surely wasn't there when Grover Whalen went down the bay to welcome Hendrick Hudson, was it?
No, Fred. The tablet on the pedestal of the statue tells its story.
It tells a story. Well, how does the tablet read?
A gift from the people of the Republic of France to the people of the United States. This Statue of Liberty, enlightening the world, commemorates the alliance of the 2 nations in achieving the independence of the United States and attests their abiding friendship.
The statue, then, was erected by the people of France. And when was it previewed?
The Statue of Liberty was unveiled and dedicated on October 28, 1886.
1886. Miss Liberty today is 53 years old.
Yes, going on 54.
Well, if you want to be catty, Mr. I hope I look as well when I'm 53 going on 54, but I don't imagine I'll wear as well as the Statue of Liberty.
Well, I hardly think so, Fred. She's made of copper.
Well, I've got plenty of iron in my system, Mr. Ludmira. As a matter of fact, I have so much iron in me, they tried to tear me down along with the 6th Avenue L a few months back. Iron seems to run in our family. When my grandfather died, they didn't bury him. The old gentleman was scrapped. But tell me, Mr. You were scratching your head, Uncle Jim. I hope you were thinking. But tell me, Mr. Don't mind us, Mr. Ludmere. This goes on all the time. But tell me, Mr. Ludmere, who designed the statue originally?
The statue was created by a French sculptor named Auguste Bartholdi.
Did Mr. Bartholdi build the entire statue in France?
Yes. In 1884, Liberty was on exhibition in Paris for about 6 months.
Well, how did they ship this enormous figure to America? The Normandy wasn't running in those days. It isn't running today, is it?
Well, the statue didn't come in one piece, Fred. It was shipped here in 300 sections.
Well, I guess it's the old story. 6 months in Paris and anyone will go to pieces. The statue we see in the harbor today is really America's first jigsaw puzzle.
You might say so, Fred.
Well, can you give us an idea of how large the Statue of Liberty really is?
Well, Liberty is 152 feet high, and it's as tall as a 22-story building.
And that arm that holds the torch?
The arm is 40 feet long, the index finger on the hand is 8 feet long, and Liberty's waist is 35 feet around.
Or 2 feet smaller than Don Wilson. Tell me, Mr. Ludmere, is the Statue of Liberty the property of New York City?
No, Fred. The statue is administered by the National Park Service, a branch of the United States Department of the Interior.
I see. It's outside that the Department of Interior makes an exception in this case. But, well, tell me, about how many visitors do you greet a year? Last year, for instance.
Well, 1939 was a record year, Fred. We had about 428,000 tourists. Most of them were World's Fair visitors.
And with the fair opening again, I'm sure you'll have another record-breaking summer. Now, suppose I come out to visit the Statue of Liberty one day. What will I see?
Well, first you'll take an elevator to the top of the pedestal.
The pedestal. Can I go up into the statue?
Yes, you can go up as high as the head.
In another elevator?
No, Fred. You have to climb a winding staircase right up to the head.
And how high is it?
12 stories or 168 steps. There are windows in the statue's forehead, and you get a beautiful view of the city.
Well, if you can see the statue so well from New York, I'm surprised that some enterprising firm hasn't tried to hang a gum or a soft drink sign on Miss Liberty.
Well, she's had a couple of offers, Fred.
You mean someone has actually tried to commercialize our symbol?
Yes. A few years ago, we received an advertising proposition from a watchmaking concern. They wanted to put a giant wristwatch on the arm of the statue.
That would have set a new high in sponsoring, wouldn't it? You didn't accept the proposition, of course.
No, Fred. The Statue of Liberty is still on sustaining.
Where I am apt to find myself any minute. Well, I want to thank you for this enlightening little chat tonight, Mr. Ludmere.
I've enjoyed it very much, Fred.
We may have spoken in jest about some angles of your work this evening, but in our hearts we all know today more than ever before that this statue is the symbol of America's most precious possession, our liberty.
Good night, Fred.
Thank you, and good night, Mr. David Ludmere. Thank you. And now, Miss... you've got a new costume, Win. You look charming, I must say. And your new shoes, too. You have those filled-in heels, haven't you?
Yes, Fred.
I never know with those shoes whether a girl's arches have fallen or whether it's his shoes. But what are you going to sing for? I'll leave out this joke. It didn't get a laugh at rehearsal. What are you going to sing tonight?
I thought about you.
Did you really? You said it to music. Well, all right. I thought about it. Thank you. Just to show you how fast news travels, I learned the other day that almost 3,000 years ago in Rome, a favorite remedy for a cold was for the person who had one to read aloud. Now, there's a choice morsel of pharmaceutical nonsense.
Well, Fred, I think that's a swell idea.
Well, Harry, do you mean to say that if you had a cold, you could do it any good by reading the Farmer's Almanac or the telephone directory out loud?
No, certainly not, Fred. It all depends on what you read. Now, I have a little paragraph here, reading time 58 seconds, that would do a whale of a lot of good for anyone who reads it.
Well, then, Harry, by all means, read it.
All right, it's this. At the very first sign of a cold, take sparkling Sal Hepatica.
Now, the mighty Allen Arthurs present an Antarctic episode. It's called Admiral Allen Was Leading a Dog's Life, so they left him at the pole. Music, Arturo.
This is station KUNK, New York. The program originally scheduled for this time, Shep Fink and his drooling rhythm, has been canceled. Instead, we take you now to the South Pole for a surprise shortwave interview with the famous Antarctic explorer, Admiral Rufus E. Allen. The next voice you hear will be that of Admiral Allen, speaking for the South Pole. Take it away, Admiral. That was not Admiral Allen, folks, I hope. Mr. Markel, our engineer, is having a little difficulty making contact. We'll try it again. Take it away, Admiral Allen. Take it away, Admiral Allen. Take it. Maybe he can't take it. Come in, Admiral.
Hello, America.
Oh, I said there's something here.
Hello, America. Can you hear me, America?
Not very well, Admiral. Can you speak more distinctly?
Okay, America. How's this, America?
Much better, Admiral. How are conditions down there at the pole?
I'll be a dirty talk tip.
Oh, watch it, Admiral.
Are we on the air?
Yes, Admiral.
Hello, America.
You said that.
Oh.
Now, how are things at the pole, Admiral?
It's too darn cold, America. But my little band is facing hardships bravely, America.
Oh, good. Have you any message from the Arctic waste to deliver to civilization?
Yes. If the pot of gold calls me up,
Yes?
tell them my new phone number is Penguin 4. Ring 2. An Eskimo will run over and get me.
Okay, Admiral.
Oh, goodbye, America. Goodbye, America. Goodbye.
Come in. Close that blasted door.
Tompkins reporting, sir. Did you talk to America?
Yes, I just signed off. Have you taken the temperature reading, Tompkins?
Just finished, sir. Temperature's 80 below and dropping fast.
80 below. What are you using for a thermometer? The Trilon?
It's so cold the mercury's hanging down from the thermometer, sir. It's wobbling about like a pendulum.
Dad, we've been here 6 months at Little Brooklyn. This is the coldest yet.
Yes, sir. It got so cold this morning I couldn't saw any firewood. The teeth on the saw were chattering.
We're doomed, Tompkins. It's getting colder by the hour, and we're almost out of food.
Well, can't you send some men out to hunt for food?
I had Welch, Weaver, and Stensky out hunting yesterday. Welch bagged a small walrus.
And the other two?
Weaver's a little nearsighted. He bagged Stensky.
That won't help.
No, Stensky only weighs 80 pounds. He's practically all gristle.
Somebody's knocking, sir.
You have keen eardrums, Tompkins. Come in.
Sacre bleu, it is cold.
Here, my cook.
Pierre, your ex-cook quit.
You can't quit, Pierre. Get back out to the cookhouse and start making dinner.
No, you Shan, how can I make the dinner when there is nothing to cook?
You can fake it, can't you?
20 years I have studied under the great Oscar. And what have I cooked on this expedition?
What?
December, fried reindeer horns.
Delicious.
January, penguin du jour.
Piquant.
February, porpoise pandaude.
Delightful.
I am pleased.
This is vitamin sabotage, Pierre. You got my menu for today's dinner. Now you get out and cook it.
Pierre Tonnerre, who can cook that order? Overshoes medium rare with fried snow.
You'll cook them overshoes and like it. And fillet some of the sole for me.
But Pierre is artiste. I want to make the gravy delicieusement. And the sauces supreme.
Never mind your fancy sauces. I'm giving you 2 minutes to start cooking, or I'm taking away your postcard.
No. No. Not it. Pierre will obey.
And make a tray meat.
Oui, Admiral. Nom de cochon. For this, I have left Otis Fisher on 23rd Street.
Yeah, Tompkins, the expedition has got to get food. How much do you weigh, Tompkins?
Good heavens, sir, you're not planning.
Not yet, Tompkins. But try to put on a little weight. Just in case.
We won't starve, Admiral. We still have our cow.
Nobody's eating Daisy, Tompkins. That cow's our good luck mascot.
But you've got to do something, sir. Say, what are we supposed to be doing down here at the South Pole, anyway?
I'm collecting data. I'm syndicating a newspaper column. My data. Come here.
Where's Admiral Allen?
Cress, why ain't you out on patrol today?
I'm quitting. You can take the pole and hold on,
Cress. You ain't making me a party to no international incident. You get back on patrol.
Not in this cold,
Cress.
The first hour I'm out there, what happens? These come off in my hands. Look.
Your ears.
Yeah, me ears. The second hour I'm out there in that cold, this drops off in the snow. Look at this.
Gad, your nose.
Yeah, me nose. The third hour, I feel some lumps in my mittens. Here, pull my mittens off.
Okay, I will. Hey, what dropped?
Me finger. The ear's gone, the nose gone, now my finger's gone.
Get yourself together, Cress.
Half of me is laying on the floor.
Well, pick up your fingers and go.
Okay, I'm going. I tell you, I never seen it this cold before but once.
Where was that?
In Florida.
This is bad business, Admiral. This cold will ruin the men's morale.
Cold. Don't mention cold again, Tompkins. The word cold is taboo from now on. Call in the men. I'm telling them to. Blow the assembly horn.
Yes, sir.
If Cress shoots off his mouth before it drops off, he can start a mutiny. I'm stopping this cold talk right now.
Here's the boys coming, sir.
Come in, fellas.
Go assembly horn.
Men of the Allen expedition, attention.
Yes, sir.
Now, men, there's a rumor around camp that this cold is getting you down, is it?
Yes, sir.
Now, we knew when we come down here to the pole it was going to be powerful cold, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Now, just because it's worse than we expected, are we going to let it lick us, men?
Yes, sir.
Now, hold on. That ain't the spirit, men.
Oh, yeah? We want to get back to civilization.
That's right.
This ain't mutiny, men.
It ain't cooperation.
Nobody can stand this cold.
It's in your will.
All right, men. If you want to scuttle the Admiral's expedition, I'm licked. I'll contact America shortwave and get them to send us a rescue ship.
That's all right.
All right, boys. I'll turn on the radio. Hello, America. Hello, America.
Hello, Barney. Who's calling?
Is this Radio City, New York?
This is Irving Goldfarb, the Bronx, a shortwave ham.
You one of them ham operators?
Please, a real operator. I'm not even using ham in conversation.
Now listen, Goldfarb. This is Admiral Allen at the South Pole.
Oh, good to know you, Admiral. This is Irving of Irving's Delicatessen.
I need a rescue ship. I'm out of food.
I am immediately sending out my boy a special order of assorted cold cuts.
Cold cuts?
Yeah. Cold
Why,
cuts.
that propaganda spreading hypocrite. Give me that harpoon, somebody.
What's the matter with the cold cuts?
I'll hack this radio to bits. Bye, cold.
I'm dead.
Cold.
Bob signing off to get her lawyer.
Cold cuts. He's sending us cold.
Admiral, you've ruined the expedition's radio.
Now we can't get no rescue ship.
I said what I'd do if I heard that word cold again, and I done it.
Well, what are we going to do, Admiral?
We're marooned here now. I'm wishing we had him. Instead of, I'm putting no time for ad-libbing, men. We're dealing. I'm putting you men under martial law. The first man that mentions cold again gets shot.
Well, we wouldn't mention it, sir, if we had some food.
All right, men. I give in. You boys can have Daisy. Tompkins,
Yes,
go
sir.
out to the cookhouse. Tell Pierre to cancel them overshoes. Tell him to cook up Daisy the cow.
Yes, sir. Pierre will finally have a chance to prepare one of his famous sauces. I'm off.
Now, there's going to be steaks for everybody. What do you say, man?
Yum.
Are you shivering, Cutler?
I'm shivering with joy, Admiral. That ain't the cold.
I told you, Cutler, I'm shooting the first man that mentions cold.
I'm sorry, sir.
Now, this is my last warning, men, and this goes for everybody. The next man that mentions cold is a goner.
Come and get it, gentlemen.
Yeah. What's the idea bringing that raw cow in here?
Well, Tompkins say you are in a hurry, no?
But you ain't even cooked Daisy. All you've done is peel off her hide.
Mais oui, the raw meat is nothing. Pierre has made the sauce on top. The sauce par excellence.
Let me see that sauce. Why, you no-good left-bank hash-slinger.
Admiral.
You frog-eating, double-dealing, calorie conniver.
Admiral, not the gun.
Yes, the gun. Take this, Pierre Flambeau.
Oh! Bonsoir.
Bone riddance.
Admiral, are you crazy?
I know what I'm doing.
But you've killed our cook. We'll starve to death.
I said I'd kill the man who mentioned the temperature again, didn't I?
Yes, sir, but I didn't hear Pierre say anything about the cold.
He didn't say it, but he hinted at it.
Hinted?
What do you mean? Take a look at the sauce on top of that cow, man.
Sauce?
Yes, it's chili. We're a little late. I won't have time to say good night. So good, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The Fred Allen Show. An hour of smiles with Fred Allen, folks. 3,600 seconds of fun and music. Fun with our star comedian, Fred Allen. With our guest, Mr. T. He, one of the directors of Walt Disney's Pinocchio. Music with Peter Van Steeden, the Merrimack, and Win Murray. The time has come. It's the Fred Allen Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to prove to you that I am in a rut, once again, I bring you that same guy I always seem to be bringing you, Fred Allen in person.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, spring is here as of last Thursday, and our program comes to you tonight in the guise of a delectable zephyr. In the guise of a delectable zephyr. How is that, Harry?
What, Fred?
I just coined the phrase. I'm no judge, but to me it reeked of Tennyson. Or I might as well go the whole hog and say it smacked of Edgar Kett.
Well, I didn't hear it, Fred. What was your phrase?
I said our program comes to you tonight in the guise of a delectable zephyr.
Oh, say, that's poetry, Fred.
Or a reasonable facsimile.
What is a zephyr?
What?
I say, what is a zephyr?
A zephyr is a tornado with an inferiority complex. It's a limp gale, a typhoon with no ambition. A zephyr, Harry, is really a slow leak from out the west. You get the significance?
Yes, I get it. A zephyr is a slow leak.
Yeah.
A slow leak is a little drip.
And a little drip is Fred Allen in person.
Welcome with a new hairdo yet. You look as though you combed your hair with the sleeve of a chinchilla coat. No other effect could... Well, welcome back to radio, Mr. Van Steeden.
Say, this is the first time you've said anything on the program since February, Pete.
Oh, I'm here ready to talk, but Allen won't give me any lines.
Look, I ought to give you a comb. You need a comb. Just 2 lines. He's got 2 lines and he washed his hair again. Success has gone to his head again in the form of soap. Well, I tried to give you lines, Orson Welles Steeden, but you can't even read them.
What do you mean I can't read them? I've been taking elocution lessons.
What? I didn't know you were taking elocution lessons, Pete.
Sure, get a load of this, Harry.
No.
Break unlike cold gray stones, oh, see?
That's fine. That's very good. You sound like the boy voted most likely to succeed at an embalming school. You keep talking that way, and you'll end up an announcer.
How do you like that, Harry? I study elocution for 6 months.
And what can you say?
Break, unlike...
All right. Break it up, brother. We had enough trouble around here last week with that eagle.
The eagle got more laughs than you did.
I could get laughs if I used the same devices. If I had feathers on and could sit on Harry's wrist, a feathered Bolivar, I would get laughs.
Oh, that eagle was sophisticated. He was over your head.
That's what had me worried. All right, Mr. Ramshaw, get back on your perch.
Boy, I'd like to be an eagle for about 2 minutes.
The minute you leave the ground, Van Steven, you're through. That's all we need on this program, an orchestra leader who flies yet. And having come to the bottom of page 3 in our script, we turn briskly to the latest news of the week. The Ipana News presents The World in Review. Seattle, Washington. A recent appendix operation in Seattle was broadcast over a statewide radio hookup. As the surgeon operated, member of the State Medical Association stood by the operating table with a microphone, giving the radio audience a complete description of the appendectomy. If radio operations get to be popular, they may soon become regular network features. Ipana News shows how the radio operation of tomorrow may sound. The operation program opens.
To the strains of I'll See You in My Dreams, the makers of Pico Cough, the new miracle drink, bring you another in their series of weekly operations. Does coffee keep you awake nights? Try Pico Cough. It looks like coffee, tastes like tea, and smells like muesli. You can perk it, brew it, or mend crockery with it. Ask your grocer for Pico Cough. And now we take you to the radio clinic. Take it away, Professor Mangle.
This is Professor Mangle, about to bring you another operation through the courtesy of Pico Cough. Last week we presented Mrs. Toomey in a dramatic facelifting operation. I want to apologize to the many fans who wrote in asking for Mrs. Toomey's autograph. Mrs. Toomey's face was lifted a little too high. Her skin is so tight now she can't close her fingers to hold a pen. We may have Mrs. Toomey back on the program soon to let out some slack. If we do, you'll be seeing more of Mrs. Toomey. And now, our guest patient for tonight's operation, Mr. Morgan Grimm, a double molectomy. Good evening, Mr. Grimm.
Good evening, Professor Dangle.
What is your occupation?
I'm a salt cellar salesman.
You sell salt cellars?
Yeah, I'm a salt cellar seller.
And how is business?
Shaky.
You're a case, Mr. Grimm. And you're here to be operated on?
Yeah, I got 2 moles on my nose.
Oh, yes. Mr. Morgan Grimm is having his 2 moles removed tonight through the courtesy of Pico Cough.
Hey, look, am I getting a local anesthetic, Professor?
No, this is a coast-to-coast hookup, Mr. Grimm.
Oh. I hope everything comes off all right.
Yes, it will. Now, if you'll just lie down on that cot, Mr. Grimm.
Okay.
And now, while Mr. Grimm is getting ready for his operation, we present the nurse who will administer the anesthetic, glamorous Mavis Brown.
Hiya, friend. I got a tank full of ether and I'm raring to go. This patient looks like he's going to give me plenty of trouble. It's going to be tough telling when he's unconscious. You get it, folks?
Are you ready, Nurse Brown?
Yeah, Prof.
Ready, Mr. Grimm?
Yeah, Professor.
Let's go, students!
And now, while Nurse Brown administers the ether, Professor Mangle is putting on his rubber gloves, just the way you see Dr. Kildare puts them on in the movies. Mr. Grimm is unconscious, and as the operation starts, we hear Professor Mangle say,
Pincers.
Pincers.
Scalpel.
Scalpel.
1 mole is off, folks. And we turn you now back to Professor Mangle.
Ligature.
Ligature.
Tourniquet.
Tourniquet.
Blow-up patch.
Blow-up patch.
Scalpel.
Scalpel.
And the 2nd mole is off, folks. The patient is coming to. Now I'll move the microphone over it, and you can hear the patient's first words as he comes out of the ether.
So, get me a cup of Pico Cough.
Yes, Pico Cough. Pico Cough. The first thing a patient asks for after coming out of the ether is Pico Cough. And now here is Professor Mangle to say goodnight.
This is your old friend, Professor Mangle, the cynic of the clinic, saying good night, folks, and happy convalescing.
Thank you, Professor. The makers of Pico Cough, the miracle drink, it looks like coffee, tastes like tea, and smells like muesli, invite you to tune in again next week when our guest patient will be
Miss Tiny Dow.
Here, Miss Tiny Dow, have a wen removed next week. If you knew her when, tune in again. You know when. And don't forget, folks, if you're still awake, be sure to take Pico Cough, spelled P-E-K-O, cough.
Good night.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight. Oh, hello, Portland. Oh, you want to come in there?
Hello.
It's saving set. Why don't you go around where you're supposed to come? I'm not that big yet. But, well, you certainly look nifty tonight. That's some outfit.
Yes, I was in the Easter parade Sunday. Do you like my new hat?
Where is it?
Right here, behind my left ear.
Oh, I didn't see it. Yes, it looks nice, what there is of it.
All the hats are smaller this spring.
I'll say they're smaller. I saw a man on 6th Avenue this afternoon with something in his eye. When he got it out, it was a woman's hat.
I get it.
I know. I saw your face light up.
Well, Mama's got me so full of sulfur and molasses, it's a wonder I don't light up all over.
Oh, you don't have to worry about lighting up. As the fella says, when you gotta glow, you gotta glow.
That's good.
Well, it always has been. You can tell it another way, you know. What did the big shad say to the little shad?
When you gotta row, you gotta row.
That's it. Not quite as good that way, but it's... And speaking of fish, did you hear Benny last Sunday?
Jack said that his father had made you a suit.
He mentioned that on his program, that his father had made a suit for me years ago.
Huh?
But do you want to know the truth about that suit?
Yes.
One time I was booked into Waukegan, and I met Benny in Chicago. He was living at a waterfront hotel there. I was in waiting and met him. That was his room. I happened to wade into his room. And Benny knew that my name was going to be in lights at Waukegan. I happened to have the lights with me. So he said, when you get to Waukegan, Fred, let my father, Benny the Elder, make a suit for you.
And did you?
Yes, when I got to Waukegan, I hired an interpreter. I went down to say hello to Jack's father through this man I had hired. And I ordered the suit. He mailed it on to me at White City, Illinois, where I was starring the following week.
Oh, how was the suit?
Well, when the suit came, it was then I discovered Benny's father wasn't a tailor. He was an upholsterer. He was used to sewing on chairs.
Well, how could you tell?
Why, my pants had 4 legs on them and a cane bottom. The coat had an antimacassar sewed on the collar. I sent the suit to Ripley. He probably knew somebody who could wear it. But too much of Benny. What about our guest?
Have you seen Pinocchio?
Walt Disney's new masterpiece? I certainly have. Now, don't tell me that Walt Disney is here tonight.
No. Our guest tonight is Mr. T.H., one of Mr. Disney's directors.
T.H.? It sounds as though he might be Minnehaha's oldest boy.
Well, I wouldn't know. Why don't you ask him? Mr. Allen, meet Mr. T.H.
Well, good evening, Mr. He.
Good evening, Fred.
Now, before we start, Mr. He, I think the first thing we better do is get your name straightened out. If I keep saying T.He all night, people will think I'm laughing at myself. And why should I start a trend at this late day? But tell me, is T.He your real handle?
Yes, Fred. The first initial is T, and my last name is spelled H-E-E, T-He.
Say, it must be embarrassing to the women folk in your family if all the she's are he's. But still, T.He is a perfect name for a man whose job it is to help Walt Disney keep the world laughing.
Laughter and entertainment are Walt's objectives, Fred.
I know. Portman said that you directed Pinocchio. Is that right?
No, I was merely one of the sequence directors.
Well, how many directors did it take to get the mahogany Mickey Rooney on the screen?
Well, there were 2 supervising directors, 5 sequence directors, and 8 animation directors.
Pinocchio had more directors than a Jersey bank, didn't he? Well, how many people worked? We'll wait, if anything's cooking. Let us know. Put up a hand if anyone's thinking of doing something. But, how many people... People, that's the way this show is, Mr. He. People jump up and speak into the microphone. It's been going on here. How many people worked on Pinocchio on the picture altogether?
1,200.
1,200. Why, that's more people than Benny's last picture played to in Scranton, PA. And that was with bank night in the afternoons, too. Now, how long did it take you 1,200 fellows to complete Pinocchio?
The picture was 2 years in production. More than 500,000 drawings and paintings had to be turned out.
Well, that must have kept Mr. Disney pretty busy. Does he draw with both hands simultaneously?
Walt doesn't do all the actual drawing, Fred.
No?
But he does guide every detail of his pictures, from the conception of the idea right through to the distribution of the finished production.
Well, I think a lot of people would be interested in knowing how you Disney craftsmen work. How, for example, did you assemble your latest ink epic, Pinocchio?
Well, first came the selection of the story.
Why did Walt pick Pinocchio?
Because Pinocchio is a delightful folk tale that is known and loved the world over.
Yes, it certainly is. Tell me, when Walt gets a story, he doesn't do like most of the Hollywood studios, hire 40 writers to rewrite the story, and then 40 more writers to get it back the way it was.
No, Fred. Pinocchio was turned over to our story department, and an outline of the plot was sketched out.
Well, are cartoon scenarios written the same as the regular scripts?
No, the stories are laid out in drawing, something like a huge comic strip.
Oh, and then everyone starts laughing about the play?
No, not yet. Next, the directors and the head animators are called in. The story men explain their sketches, everything is agreed upon, and the story is split up and assigned to the sequence director.
Well, which sequences were you given in Pinocchio?
I directed the scenes where Pinocchio meets the fox and the cat.
Ah, the villains of the piece. What was that fox's name again?
J. Worthington Foulfellow, otherwise known as Honest John.
That's right, and J. Worthington Foulfellow. I must remember that if we have children later. And the cat was Gideon. The fox, you know, that fox and cat were two of the biggest heels I've seen since the last time I got a peek at Carnera putting on his shoes. Well, what happened? I'll kill the guy that told me to keep that in. If he's here tonight, he's through. I don't know whether... What happened after you consider that unsaid, Mr. Heath?
Sorry.
What happened? What happened after you took Honest John and Gideon in hand?
Well, I went into conference with Norm Ferguson and Ken O'Connor, a head animator and art director, to work out the details of the animation.
Was your work finished when this animation was completed?
No, Fred. Then the backgrounds, colors, costumes, and the characters themselves had to be worked on.
Say, tell me, who invents those characters like Dopey, Pluto, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and the others? Does Walt go on a Welsh rarebit diet and dream those folks up?
I don't know how Walt does it, Fred.
Well, I wish you'd ask him when you get back and let me know general delivery. But tell me, with so many artists... I'll be there shortly, something else. But tell me, with so many artists drawing different sequences, how do you keep the likenesses of the various characters uniform?
Well, models are made up to guide the animators. And sometimes we photograph actors who resemble the characters. And these action pictures are studied before the drawings are made.
Well, who does these drawings? The head animator?
He does what we call the key drawings, the important points in each bit of action.
And other artists fill it in?
That's correct. And then when the drawings are cleaned up, they're traced on celluloid and painted.
And each separate drawing is photographed on movie film?
That's right.
And as soon as you photographed 500,000 drawings, Pinocchio was finished?
Not quite, Fred. The music, dialogue, and sound effects had to be added to the film.
And then Pinocchio was ready for his preview?
His first public appearance, yes.
Uh-huh.
Actually, the picture had been previewed from the first day it went into production.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, our pictures are run off with the whole staff in various stages of production. And Walt asked everyone, from the messenger boys up, for suggestions and criticisms, and anyone who comes through with a good gag or a piece of business gets a bonus.
Well, in radio, we use a similar system on a bigger scale. If anyone opens his mouth around a radio program, he gets the business. But, tell me, Mr. He, what qualities does a fellow have to possess to become a Disney animator?
I would say that he has to have something that is just more than artistic ability. He has to have a feeling for the sort of thing that Walt does. All of us at the studio are working for the same thing, to make pictures that are more entertaining, more beautiful, and technically more perfect.
Well, in case you haven't heard, Mr. He, you are succeeding. And I certainly appreciate your kindness in dropping in tonight.
It's been a pleasure, Fred.
You know, I heard Jack Benny announce last Sunday that he is going to play Pinocchio on his program next Sunday. I think it's a shame that 2 years of work you fellas have put in is going to be undone next Sunday night in 30 minutes.
Well, I think Jack will play Pinocchio very well, Fred.
You mean it takes a dummy to play a dummy?
You're not getting me mixed up in that. Good night, Fred.
Good night, and thank you, Mr. T. If you notice these bags under my eyes getting bags underneath them, it's because I've been sitting up nights trying to find a substitute for that shop-worn combination of words, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, now, there isn't any substitute, Fred, so there's no use sulking about it. Those words go together, like bread and butter and black and white, ham and eggs, salt and pepper.
Well, I guess you're right, Harry. And while we're on the subject, don't forget Mike and Ike, corned beef and cabbage, Barnum and Bailey.
Sure, Fred. And most important of all, don't forget Ipana and massage.
Now the mighty Allen Art Players. Tonight they present a gruesome, spine-chilling Inspector Bungle murder mystery called Who Killed Mac Borden? The action takes place in Tin Pan Alley. Scene 1, the private office of Sidney Dangle, president of the Dangle Music Corporation. The famous songwriting team of Borden and Bevell rush in.
Hey, Mr. Dangle.
What is it, boys?
Harry and me just finished another song. Yeah, new mother song, and it's a wham, Mr. Dangle. Yeah, get this title. Mother, you're fairer than the world's fair to me. And get these lyrics.
Well, all right, boys, but make it snappy.
Let's go, Harry.
Mother, you're just my mother, but you're fairer than the world's fair to me. Your nose is like the trident, but you got a smile on. I don't pay no admission to see. My, you got a shape like the perisphere, round in front and round in the rear.
Oh, now, wait.
Your map may look like a Futurama, but you're my ever-loving mama.
Oh, wait.
And you're fairer than the world's fair to me. A wall, Mr. Dale, huh?
Well, that is terrible.
What?
Why, it's dated.
What do you mean?
Nobody wants a mother song today.
Well, me and Mac have been writing mother songs for 20 years, Mr. Dale.
And every song a hit.
My mother's eyes.
My mother's nose.
My mother's hangnail.
My mother ain't got no bananas.
I know, boys, but Mother is through. Mother is washed up. The public today wants swing. Something like Futurakasaki, Itty Bitty Pooh, Jumpin' High.
Now, wait a minute. I can't write that moron stuff, Mr. Dangle.
Well, either you write it or you're fired. Now get out, both of you.
Okay, Chief. Come on, bud.
Flatfoot flugy with a foo-foo. I can't write that.
And so Mac Borden, the songwriter, goes to work and to his doom. 10 minutes later, the door of Mr. Dangle's office flew open.
Oh, Mr. Dangle. Oh, Mr. Dangle.
What's up, Babette? You're shaking like an in-girl in a Minsky show.
Borden, me lyric writer, he's been murdered.
Murdered?
Yes, take a look in our office.
Well, leads away.
Look.
Gad, he's slumped over his desk there. Are you sure he's dead?
There's a pool of blood near his head.
Say, this is murder, all right. I'm calling the police.
Hiya, folks. Now, don't nobody move. I got you covered like an actor's bald spot.
Well, just a minute, Frog Voice. Where did you come from?
I'm Inspector Bungle, Bud, the bleached Mr. Moto.
Why? This is uncanny. How did you get here so fast?
Don't ask me. I didn't write this tripe. Me cue is a wind whistle. I heard a wind whistle, and here I am. Now, what's the crime?
It's murder, Bungle.
Murder, hey? Who are you, Marquis Stomach?
I am Sidney Dangle, president of the Dangle Music Publishing Corporation.
A tune tycoon, hey? And who are you, Herring Vest?
I'm Harry Bevell, a dead man's collaborator.
Oh, yeah? And who are you? Come on, wake up, Bud.
Yeah, that's the body.
Quit butting in, you. Let him speak for himself. Now, who are you, Bud?
He's Mac Borden, me lyric writer.
Oh, yeah? What do you know about this crime, Bevel?
Nothing. Mr. Dangle sent Mac and me in here to write a swing song.
And?
I went out of the room tonight to steal a melody from a hurdy-gurdy that was playing in the alley.
And?
I come back in, Mac is slumped over the desk. He's dead and tippy-tippy 10.
Okay, Bevel. Now, what about you, Dangle? Where was you when the murder was committed?
I was in my office wishing I was out of the music business.
You didn't hear no shots, no groans, no stoop, no squat, no squint?
All right. I heard nothing until Harry here comes screaming into my office.
Yeah, I seen the pool of blood on the desk.
Yeah, there's the blood. Borden must have been shot. But how? He ain't holding no gun. Ain't suicide. This window here is locked. No hole in it, no shot come through the window. Now, what about this door?
Well, this door leads into my office.
Into your office?
Yeah.
It's beginning to look mighty suspicious, Dangle.
What? Surely you don't think that I, as president of the Dangle Music Corporation, would stoop to murder?
There's a lot of plugging going on in the music business, Bud.
Well, I certainly couldn't have killed him. I was out of the room.
Who else was in here when Borden went to his eternal cassette?
Nobody. Just Borden, Bevell, and myself.
Hey, wait a second, boss.
What?
How about Mac's mother?
Now we're getting someplace. Satchel LaFemme. His old lady was on the premises, hey?
Yes, Borden wrote nothing but mother songs, you know. He kept her around the office for inspiration.
Well, where is the old lady?
Oh, Mac kept his mother in his closet. I'll see if she's still in here. Hey, Mr. Borden.
Yes, Mr. Bevel?
Will you come out of the closet a minute?
Oh, is Mac going to write another mother song?
No, I called you, Granny. Your son has been bumped off.
You'll have to speak up, young man. I'm a little deaf.
Look, Inspector, must you tell her? It'll break her heart.
I gotta tell her, Tangle.
You two will have to speak up. I can't hear that whispering.
Now listen, Mrs. Borden. Your son is dead.
Dead? My son Mac is dead?
Yeah, somebody killed him.
Well, it's about time. Boy, was he corny.
Mrs. Borden.
Writing them jerk ballads. My mother's nose, my mother's big toe. That Icky was my son, but he was strictly from hunger.
Now hold it, Granny. Don't tell me at your age you're a swing fan.
Sure, Gates. Around Roseland, they call me the arthritis head cat. Oh, the Jim Jam jump is the jump in jive like a truck on down and I'm 85 hip hip.
Oh, now, okay.
Hip, hip.
Okay, Grandma. Take it easy, Grandma. You can Big Apple down now and collect your son's insurance.
Insurance? Hear me! Shoot the payments to me, John Hancock, boys. Come on, Gates.
What a dame. One foot in the grave and the other one doing a shag.
Well, look, Inspector, I hate to butt in here, but what about the mystery?
That's right, the mystery. It sure is a puzzler. Now, let me see. There's the body. The window's locked. What's this other door here?
It leads out into the hall. The rehearsal rooms are out there.
And I'm looking in them rehearsal rooms, Dangle. Come on. You stay here, Bevel, so's the body won't get lonesome.
Okay.
Well, come on, let's go.
There's all rehearsal rooms, you say, eh, Dangle?
Yeah, acts are rehearsing. Songwriters are working in them.
Who's in this room here? This room is empty.
Yeah, this is where we write songs like The Little Man Who Wasn't There. You want to look in this room, Bungle?
Yeah, open that other door. Hey, you!
Shut that door. I'm composing.
Yeah, composing what?
I'm writing campaign songs for the Democratic Party. I got a song for Garner.
Garner?
Yeah, Garner, the days when my heart was...
Never mind.
Listen to this one. A campaign song for the president. I didn't know what term it was.
I'm getting out of here.
Well, I'm telling you, Bungle, you won't find any suspects in these rehearsal rooms.
And I ain't giving up, Dangle. Who's in this next room here?
Well, I'll see.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf. The big bad wolf.
Just a minute, brother.
Sir, are you addressing me?
Where was you 20 minutes ago?
I was right here rehearsing. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Hold it, Bud. You're sure you didn't leave this room?
Cross my heart. I've been learning this song for my guest appearance on the Horn and Hot program next Sunday.
That's a kid's program, ain't it?
Yes, I'm large for my age.
Hey, Bud. That tomboy couldn't have killed Mac Borden, Tangle.
Well, Bungle, you're stymied.
I ain't getting nowhere. I'm taking another look at the body to refresh me memory.
Well, the body's back in this room here.
Okay.
Have you found a clue, Bungle?
I'm examining the body again. Now, the pool of blood is on the desk. The wound must be on the front of his head. Help me sit the body up, fellas.
Yeah, okay, you take the other arm.
Okay, Mr. Dangle.
Ease him back in the chair, fellas. Easy now.
Okay, there we are.
Now, pick him up. Who done that? Pick him up now. Put him in there. Well, I'll say, what do you know? There ain't no wound in his head.
Now, wait a minute. There must be a wound. How did this pool of blood get on the desk?
This is confusing. I'm taking a gander at this blood through me magnifying glass. Now, let me see. Well, I'll be...
What do you see, Bungle?
The blood. There's onions in it.
Onions?
It ain't blood. It's chili sauce. Where did this chili come from?
Oh, I can explain that. Me and Mac had hamburgers for lunch. Mac must have scraped the chili off of his.
To me, a hamburger ain't a hamburger without chili.
Yeah, I always take chili on my hamburger.
With a hot dog I take in here, relish.
Never mind that. What about the murder?
Oh, yeah, the murder. Well, there ain't no lumps on his head. Maybe he was doped. I'm frisking the body. I thought so.
What is it, Bungle?
Top vest pocket here. Look.
Kid, a little bottle.
And in this pocket?
Gee, a hypodermic needle.
The mystery is solved. Somebody drugged your lyric writer before they bumped him off.
Why should anyone want to drug a songwriter?
Giving one dope to another, it's redundant.
Hey, maybe Mac ain't dead. Can you top of that drug, Bungle?
Maybe the formally is on this bottle here.
What's it say?
Na2Cl407. Why, this is formaldehyde of sulfanilamide. This is a powerful drug, fellas. It dissolves the human brain. Whoever gives this drug to Borden was trying to turn him into an imbecile.
Then he ain't dead.
He's in a stupor. Maybe I can slap him, too. Hey, wake up, wait. Wake up, Borden. This is the law. Come on. Break it up, Morpheus.
Hey, he's out of it, but he's not.
He's talking like a cripple.
It's that drug that's dissolving his brain. I gotta stop it or he'll wake up a chowderhead.
Can't you counteract that drug, Bungle?
I can try. Wait till I put this epidemic needle on the desk. I got some digitalis pills in my pocket here. Open his mouth, Bevel.
Okay.
I'll drop this digitalis in. Okay, swallow that, Borden.
It's gone down his throat.
Yeah, digitalis ought to stop that drug working. We'll see.
Where am I? What's going on here?
It's all right, Dope. You was doped. Now you're cured.
Cured, but I didn't want to be cured. I drugged myself.
You drug yourself? Why, man?
I had to. You said I was fired if I didn't write a swing song, didn't you?
Well, yeah,
you
but...
wanted lyrics like Food Rackasaki, Floyd, Boom, Bisto, Kelly Star, didn't you?
Yeah, but...
Nobody but an idiot can pick up words like that. I had to get down to that mental level. I bought this drug to dissolve my brain to turn myself into a grade B moron. Look at me. Now I'm normal again. Now I can't possibly write a swing song.
Gee, I'm sorry, Bud.
You're sorry, you bungling idiot. Take this.
Hey. Oh.
Good night, you knocked the inspector flat across the desk.
Hey, look, Mr. Dangle. Bungle fell in a hypodermic needle.
Oh, Inspector Bungle. Bungle, speak to me.
Food Rackasaki, higgity bitty boo. Rotten down, scat, wet, hot.
Eureka! Bungle can write our swing lyrics. We're saved.
Last Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, a very significant event occurred the first day of spring. Tonight we show you how thousands and thousands of city and country dwellers alike greeted spring.
Spring is here. You said it, and how?
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
The Fred Allen Show. Smiles with Fred Allen, folks. 3,600 seconds of fun and music. Fun with our star comedian, Fred Allen. Music with Peter Van Steeden, the Merrimack, and Win Murray. The time has come. It's the Fred Allen Show. The Fred Allen Show. Smiles with Fred Allen, folks. 3,600 seconds of fun and music. Fun with our star comedian, Fred Allen. Music with Peter Van Steeden, the Merrimack, and Win Murray. The time has come. It's the Fred Allen Show.
Thank you. And now, before the little man with the jingle bells plays his nocturnal obligato, may I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that next week we bring you skiing advice.
When I'm coming down a hill and one ski flies off, what shall I do? Don't worry, brother, you'll do it.
Your song of the week.
Hairless, and now that you've left me hairless, oh dear.
Watch it, Lawrence. That's careless. Not hairless, isn't it?
The finance company just grabbed me toupee, brother. I'm hairless.
You're telling us. And our guest will be...
Mr. David Ludmire, a guide at the Statue of Liberty. Is Miss Liberty's right arm tired? Who is she carrying the torch for? Tune in next week and save a trip down New York Harbor. Or take a trip down New York Harbor and save tuning in.
You have a...
To prove the truth of this old maxim... A man who foisted a 60-minute peccadillo on America last Wednesday night returns to the scene of his crime tonight. He's Fred Allen in person.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And now, before we start, Harry, I wish you wouldn't indulge in that oral exhibitionism you seem to be so given to lately. In the future, kindly dispense with that Park Avenue Billingsgate in my introduction, if you will.
Who, me?
Yes, you, Harry. The man who foisted a 60-minute peccadillo. What is that peccadillo?
Peccadillo?
Yeah.
Oh, Fred, any schoolboy knows what peccadillo means.
Don't start dragging the national youth movement into this. I am asking you, what does the word mean?
Peccadillo?
Yes, peccadillo, all of it.
Well, it's a verb. It's a verb, Fred. To peccadillo. I peccadillo, you peccadillo, he peccadillo, we peccadillo,
no,
they peccadillo.
Look, you know what? No, don't pad the part. You stopped in the middle. You know what Mr. Wells said to his son, Harry?
No, what did Mr. Wells say?
Quit horsing around.
Okay, now you went and done it. I'll tell you. I was only kidding anyway. Peccadillo is from the Greek. Peck, meaning to peck, as a woodpecker pecks.
Yeah.
Or 4 pecks make a bushel. Or it's sometimes used as in that song, peck up your troubles in your old kid peck and
All
peck.
right. Up to now, you're 100%. That's peck. Now, what about a dillo?
Oh. Well, A is just A, as in...
Vitamin A?
Vitamin A, that's right. Or A as in one of some.
A as in one of some?
Yeah, A is the singular. For instance, you have a lot of apples, you have some apples.
Some apples.
You have one apple, you have a apple.
You have an apple.
Yeah, it doesn't come out with apples, does it?
No. No, you'd better dig up another fruit, chum.
Oh, don't tell me. I'll work it. Oh, I've got it, Fred. I can do it with prunes.
No kidding.
Yeah, look, you have...
really that it can be done with prunes.
Well,
I can
do this.
Prunes are an ornament on a 40-cent dinner. I mean, they're rarely eaten.
Somebody told me that prunes were raisins with inflammatory rheumatism. But that is out of the question.
You will bring... Wait a minute. You bring another joke in here from the Bernie show. I won't let Bernie in here. Now, I don't want his jokes in here.
I got $2 from the maestro for that.
Okay. Well, you came in like a horse. He probably paid off on you.
Well, Fred, all I want to do is get
all right,
this
now get
off
it
my
straight.
mind.
A dillo.
Peccadillo. I've got up to this. I can do it with prunes.
Sound your A.
All right. You have a lot of prunes.
Yeah.
You have some prunes.
Yeah.
You have one prune. You have a prune.
All right. Now, you've got peck and A. Now, what about dillo?
Well, dillo is easy. That's what you do to pickles. You dillo the pickles.
Then, according to you, Mr. Funk, peccadillo... I'm leaving Wagnalls out of this. According to you, peccadillo is pecking at a prune and doing it to a pickle.
Well, that's the way it seems to come out.
And that's not going to look
Hey,
it
how
up.
about starting the program, fellas? What's holding you guys up?
This program, Gravity, for one thing, this program is not starting until Mr. Von Zell, Mr. Van Steeden, until Mr. Von Zell quits using words on this program that he obviously doesn't understand.
What word did you use, Harry?
Peccadillo, Pete.
Oh, you mean like in that song, when Peccadillo Pete goes tweet, tweet, tweet.
No. And he leads the orchestra, yeah. You can imagine what's going on mentally behind those instruments. He's the leader. Van Steeden, I would like to see you and Phil Harris match wits. That would be the depth of nothing. A Witzkrieg, as it were.
Oh, Phil Harris is a moron.
A moron, yet. He calls it a maroon. There are two schools of thought. You should know. You're closer to it than any of us. You have the audacity to call Phil Harris a moron, and you don't even know what the word peccadillo means?
Oh, yeah? Get this, stupid. Peccadillo is a noun. It's from the Latin peccatum, meaning sin.
Yeah.
A peccadillo is a small sin, a slight offense, a petty fault. Can you handle it, Alan?
Not with no gloves. No, I haven't got one. That finishes me. I give up.
How about a fanfare, Alan?
Anything but a peccadillo as we turn to the latest news of the week. Ipana News presents The World in Review. Philadelphia, PA. United States District Court judge rules that workers can sue their employers in federal courts for wages due under the wage hour law. In first decision of its kind rendered in this country, judge further rules that workers have a legal right to inspect the books of the employer. Should employees be allowed to inspect employers' books? Ipana News questions legal minds and white-collar workers. First, a disbarred ex-judicial power, Judge Tort says,
The status quo of the employer in this ruling is non obstante benedicto. A writ of mandamus might nissy up his prius, but crossing his null could only result in a flagrant licti. Or, as the Supreme Court recently ruled, vol vistu gaily a star.
That explains everything, and thanks a lot, sir. Oh, Judge, by the way, what bench are you sitting on today?
The second as you enter Central Park.
I'll join you with the client later in the evening. A factory girl who doubts that girl employees will derive benefits through recent court ruling is Miss Pansy Turk. Now, do you think examining the boss's books is going to help the women workers, Miss Turk?
Nah. To me, it looks like only another pitfall for their waiting girl. I'm on my guard.
You're on your guard, are you? You haven't been embarrassed personally, have you?
Well, yeah. If you want to pin me down, I gotta say yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Where do you work?
In an ice cream factory. I'm a tutti frutti evener.
A tutti frutti evener?
Yeah. When they make a brick of tutti frutti ice cream, sometimes there's more tutti than fruity in it.
I didn't know.
Other times there's more fruity than tutti.
Oh. And then you go...
Yeah, I gotta go around making it 50-50. Half tutti and half fruity.
Imagine it's nice work if you can get it. Now, what about the boss's books?
Well, every night by the time I even me tutties and me fruities and lick off me fingers, the other girls is gone.
Oh, and you are the last one out of the factory?
Except the boss.
Oh.
He's always in the office shaking out his toupee, getting ready to go home.
He says good night, of course.
For 2 years, he's been giving me the banjo eye.
The Vega cornea, he's been giving it to...
Yeah. But I just give him one of them frustrated fawn looks and keep right on going.
He has never invited you into his office?
He ain't never had no excuse. Then this ruling is passed.
Giving the employee the right to look over the employer's books.
Yeah. The very next night, I see the boss has got his toupee on oily.
Yeah?
He's waiting for me at the office door.
Yeah?
I don't say nothing. I even me last tutti frutti.
Yeah?
I licked me fingers down to the last pinky.
Yeah?
I put on me Princess Eugenie hat with the convertible snood.
Yes?
I'm just starting for the door and the boss says, Miss Type, would you like to come in and inspect my books? I wheels on him.
And?
And I says, you take care of your figures, Mr. Belcher. I'll take care of mine. With that, I stumped out the door.
Well, that's the worst of having short legs. Thank you, Miss Pansy Turk. An employer who is able to thwart employees who might want to inspect his books, Mr. Newton Kelp. How do you work it, Mr. Kelp?
Well, I got a system.
Well, that explains everything. The interview's practically over, isn't it? Well, what is your enterprise?
I got a clam shucking business. The Acme Clam Shucking, except at High Tide, Incorporated.
And how many men do you employ?
I got 10 men shucking inside and 40 picketing outside.
More going on outside, really, than there is in, isn't there? You've been having a little trouble, have you?
Yeah, Clam Shuckers Local Number 2 has been making it pretty hot for me.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, first they wanted a closed shop. Now, how can I open clams in a closed shop?
It's impossible.
Yeah, then the assistant clam shuckers want more money. Well, that's the last straw.
A calamity, as it were. What happened?
Well, the man says, we want to look through your books, Kelp. I says, I ain't got no books. I got all the figures in me head.
You're doing a small business, but about a 6 and a 7/8 business. And what did the man do?
They went out and come back with a mind reader.
Determined to get at your books, huh?
Yeah. The mind reader picks up me head and starts reading it.
Yes?
He takes one look, puts me head back down and says, men, this guy is unbalanced, and that goes for his books, too. With that, they all goes out.
And then what happened?
Well, the mind reader comes back in, and I give him the $10.
What $10?
Well, when the mind reader was reading me mind, I threw him a thought.
Yeah? What was the thought?
It was, keep your mouth shut, brother, and I'll give you $10.
He got your message?
And $10.
Well, thank you, Mr. Newton Kell. If employees in some businesses demand to examine employers' books, they may soon change their attitudes. I've had a news shows what may happen when an employee gets a look at his boss's books. The scene, the office of the Timken Toothpick Company. An employee is talking to Mr. Timken, the president. The employee says,
I've been working for you for 20 years, Mr. Timken, and I gotta have a raise.
I'm sorry, Jones. The business won't stand it.
Well, I got my legal rights, Mr. Timken. Let me see your books.
Oh, very well. Here's my statement for the past year, Jones. Gross income, $82,000.
Oh, boy.
My gross expenses, wages, taxes, etc., $137,000.
And your net profit?
You and I are swapping jobs.
What?
From now on, I will have no headaches. I'll get your $22 a week.
And am I president of the company?
Yes, Jones, I'm giving you the business.
The business?
Right, and when I say I'm giving you the business, I'm giving you the business.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Merrimacs assemble to sing for us Wait Till the Sun Shines, Nellie. Don't look now, but I think spring is really here. Hedgehogs, robins, and other flora and fauna are giddy harbingers of spring at best. But it takes the circus to make it official. And that great American institution opens here in New York day after tomorrow.
Yeah, are you going, Fred?
Oh, am I going? Say, I've got to feed all those elephants, Harry. I've got to eat up all that popcorn. And I have got to get another look at the vanishing Americans.
Oh, you mean the Indians?
No, Harry. Those fellas who say, hurry, 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 hurry. Before the big show starts, step up closer to the platform and feast your eyes on the most awe-inspiring, spectacular, gigantic pygmy in the world.
You mean the Barkers?
Correct, Harry. That is a style of elocution that always gets me. Say, even when I used to hear fellas selling stuff on the street. Remember, Harry? Now step up, folks, and get your whiffle wax, the wonder worker. Remove spots from rugs, walls, and high-shield cats, softens harnesses, and repairs surcingles. There is nothing in the home, barn, or chicken coop that can't be fixed with whiffle wax, the wonder worker. Get away, boys, you bother me. I tell you, Harry, I am certainly sorry to see those fellows disappearing.
Yes, well, they were colorful enough, Fred, but I think the day of exaggerated claims is past. People nowadays are smarter about those things than they used to be. They want facts, evidence, truth. And that's why more and more people every day are turning to sparkling Sal Hepatica.
Thank you. What was that last sound, Peter? Somebody fall on their head in the band? What was that dull, sickening, rawhide thud there? Peter and the boys have just played Limehouse Blues. Now, before presenting our guest, hello. Portland. Hello, Portland.
Hello. I just came up to invite you downstairs.
No kidding. What's going on downstairs?
A big party.
Really?
They finally finished building Rockefeller Center, and they're having a housewarming.
A housewarming? How can they have a housewarming in 14 buildings at the same time? What are they doing? Setting fire to a vice president and letting him run through the hall?
Well, I don't know.
But tell me, now that it's finished, what do you think of Rockefeller Center?
Oh, it's all right if you like buildings.
Yes, that's it. Take away the buildings and what have you got? Another parking space. Rockefeller Center's really a triumph of mind over mortar. I had it in. They made me take it out this afternoon. Would have been a terrific laugh on the end.
Have you seen the trees they're planting on 6th Avenue?
The trees, yes. They took down the L to put up the L. Mm-hmm. You know, half of the people don't bother. It's a little line. We don't bother with that. We have an entertaining line on the next page. Half, you know, if they talk about the trees on 6th Avenue, half of the people who use 6th Avenue don't even know what trees are. They think the lampposts are blooming.
Yes, most New Yorkers don't know much about nature.
Well, how do you know?
Well, a policeman showed me a robin in a tree today. He thought it was a bloodshot sparrow.
I saw a little dog running along 6th Avenue. He came to one of those new trees. The dog sat down and rubbed his eyes. He thought it was a mirage. From a picture of the same name.
Gee, with all these changes, Jeff Benny won't know New York when he gets here.
That's right. He'll be here in a couple of weeks, too. Well, that's good news for the mayor. Benny's all wet. He'll help the water shortage.
Isn't Jack's picture opening at the Paramount pretty soon?
I imagine so. I saw the Daily News picture critic splitting a star this morning. But enough about the Waukegan wastrel. Who is our guest?
Well, yesterday I passed the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
I saw all those windows and got to wondering who washed them all.
Portland, don't tell me that our guest tonight...
Yes, he's the head window cleaner at the Empire State Building.
Good. Do you think he'll go over my glasses while he's here?
Well, you'll have to ask him. Mr. Allen, meet Mr. Richard Hart.
Well, good evening, Mr. Hart.
Good evening, Fred.
You are the head window cleaner or casement masseur at the Empire State Building, Mr. Hart?
Yes, Fred.
And how long have you been associated with the world's tallest building in your perilous capacity?
Ever since it was built 9 years ago.
The Empire State Building is only 9 years old, huh? It's large for its age, isn't it?
You'd think so, Fred, if you had to wash the windows.
Tell me, how long does a... That's a little courtesy we extend to guests, Mr. Hart. Their line may get a laugh. We always wait. We have a... But tell me, how does a person get into your profession, Mr. Hart? How did you start, for example? Were you just allergic to the ground? Or did someone die and leave you a squeegee?
No, Fred, I used to be a coal miner. Things got bad and I had to find another job. I finally got into window washing.
Well, do you prefer it to mining?
Yes, Fred, I like it better outdoors.
That's fine. Still, you never can tell. If you fall off of the Empire State Building, you'll be back mining again. But tell me, how many skyscraper primpers do you have on your staff down there?
There are 8 men besides myself, Fred. They work in teams of 2.
And how many windows can each man clean a day?
About 75.
That's 150 for each team. With 4 teams going, that's around 600 windows being cleaned a day. And how many windows are there in the Empire State?
6,500. They're all cleaned about once every 10 days.
The same as a horse player. A man who plays horses gets cleaned about every 10 days, too. Although they tell me with a parlay you can make it in 4 days. But tell me, isn't bathing those room monocles a risky business, Mr. Hart?
There's very little risk today, Fred, with the safety belts we use.
Well, what is your routine on a window job? Now, let us say you get a call from the 81st floor. That's a number I made up. The 81st floor, someone in an airplane shakes out his fountain pen, and it smudges Mr. Raskov's window, which isn't being done down there. You report for action. What is the first thing you do, Mr. Hart?
First, I examine my safety belt carefully. The window ledges are less than 2 inches wide.
2 inches wide? Why, you'd have more room to work on a Ubangi's lift. Well, now you've examined the belt. Now what happens?
I hook one end of the belt to the window while I'm still inside the room.
Yeah?
Then I step out on the ledge and quickly fasten the other end.
Ah, that quickly is the secret of your profession. Quickly, I see it all now. If a gust of wind comes up in the middle of quickly, what then?
I can't blow off. One end of the belt is strong enough to hold a man until he can get back up.
Gad, it must take nerve to attempt your work, Mr. Hart.
It's nothing, Fred. You could learn to do it in no time.
Oh, not me. Oh, you're just saying that, Mr. Hart. Why, altitude is only a word to me. I get airsick getting a piggyback. My fear of altitude is really what keeps me from going up on the Crossley. Tell me, Mr. Hart, when a window washer is perched 1,000 feet up there in the air with his spine resting on a zephyr, what does he think about?
Nothing in particular, Fred.
Well, as you contemplate the scene below, don't you ever fall into a philosophical reverie and despair the futile hurly-burly of modern existence and the ironic insignificance of man's futile functions?
No, I just washed my window.
Well, when you're hanging outside like I hope you don't mind Uncle Jim holding on to you, Mr. Hart. No, we had an eagle here 2 weeks ago, and he got away. And since then, Uncle Jim has been holding on to all of the guest stars. Don't mind it. His hand feels like a skin epaulet, but just don't pay any attention. Now, when you're hanging outside... When you're hanging outside... Order, please. We've got work to do here. Mr. Hart, when you're hanging outside like a barnacle on that Empire State Building, do you generally attract a crowd?
Yes, sometimes I have quite a mob standing around looking up at me.
Well, those are probably the same people who look down at excavations in the morning and then look up at you during the afternoon to get their necks back in play. A studio audience doesn't bother you working, does it?
No, I just keep on watching, Fred.
You do, really? I heard you clean up regardless of the audience, which is a rare thing. I heard about an actor years ago who got a job washing windows before the safety belts were invented. And this actor saw a crowd as he was washing the window. He saw a crowd watching him below. And when he finished washing the window, from force of habit, he turned around to take a bow. Well, he took 2 more bows while he was falling.
Wasn't he hurt when he hit the ground, Fred?
This actor never hit the ground, Mr. Hart. When he reached the 4th floor, the Lambs Club suspended him. But we stray, brother. Have you had any unusual experiences working around the world's tallest building?
No, Fred, but I have seen some freak weather up around the top floors.
You mean some air got out of Ripley's auditorium? They do say, though, that the building is so high it creates a potent upward draft.
Yes, I stepped out on the ledge with an open pail of water one day.
Uh-huh.
The draft sucked the water out of the pail in the waterspout, 7 stories high.
If you are not telling the truth, Mr. Hart, that is the wettest tall story I have ever heard. You know, we've been talking about Al Smith's townhouse here, and I haven't even asked you how the happy warrior is these days. Do you ever see Mr. Smith while you're working around the building?
Yes, I see him nearly every day.
Is he still wearing that henna derby?
Not around the office, Fred.
Well, I wonder where it is. It isn't in the ring this year. Well, this has been a pleasant glimpse into your window washing profession, Mr. Hart. That's not a very good blend. I hope you'll excuse it. We just go from Al Smith's hat into your finish here. It's a little crudely done. cutting it was. We had it nicely before. Well, this has been a pleasant glimpse into your window washing profession, Mr. Hart. I certainly do appreciate this little visit.
I've enjoyed it, Fred.
And I hope you're keeping in good condition for next summer.
How do you mean, Fred?
Well, you may get plenty of exercise this coming summer, Mr. Hart. I hear if, decides to run for a third term, that Al Smith is going... Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now the Mighty Allen Art Players. Tonight they present a slice of Ozark life, medium rare. It's called The Laziest Man in the World. Oh, they said the hillbilly had insomnia because he woke up twice that year. Pass the corn, Professor.
In a tiny cabin in the Ozarks, the famous hillbilly Zeke Allen first ignored the light of day. Destined to become the laziest man in the world, little Zeke displayed at birth the qualities that were to bring him sluggard fame. The day little Zeke was born, the veterinarian picked him up by the heels and spanked him. Did little Zeke go... No, the lazy little sprat went... And so he continued throughout adolescence. When Zeke was 21, his family tried to wake him up to get him married. The ceremony started. The bride said...
I do.
And Zeke said... And so they were married. Then came the war. Zeke Allen answered his country's call with a resounding...
I can't budge.
And so he snored on through the years. As our story starts, it is April 1940. Zeke Allen, the laziest man in the world, marches on, but horizontally. As the scene opens, Zeke's wife is trying to awaken him.
Zeke! Land sakes, Zeke, wake up!
What's up, Ma? Judgment Day, is it?
No, 'tain't Judgment Day, it's spring.
Spring? What year?
1940.
I told you not to rouse me, Ma, except for two things. If Gabriel blows his horn, or if my name comes up in the pot of gold.
Lord, look at them cobwebs on your toes.
Yeah?
Why don't you keep your big feet covered?
Tain't fly time, is it, Ma?
And pull your beard in off on the floor. Your head looks like it's growing on a vine.
Jeepers, I'm hot. Who shut this zipper in my windbreaker here?
A field mouse got his leg caught in it yesterday. I scattered him and he run up your stomach and closed your zipper.
You ought to put a ferret in bed with me once a month, Ma, and keep me from getting so gamey.
Lord, you ought to get Frank Bach for your chambermaid. I never seen a body so lazy.
Well, all us Allens was lazy, Ma. My pa was too lazy to breathe. Every time Pa lay down, somebody'd bury him. Pa always carried a pound of raw meat in his pocket, so's when he was buried, some dog would dig him up.
What finally happened to your pa?
One day, Pa went out, forgot to take his meat. Amen.
What about your ma?
Ma's lazy in the paw. I often wonder what become of Ma.
Lost your ma, did you?
Well, we uns didn't allow Ma was lost. If when you look for something you can't find, well, you can say it's lost. We didn't look for Ma.
Your family was going places compared to you. When are you getting up?
Oh, let me be, Ma. I'll get up next year.
That's what you said last year.
Well, I'm saying it again this year.
Look at you, all curled up like a beckoning finger.
Who's tapping, Ma? That woodpeckers or someone to the door?
I'll find out.
Do that.
Good day, constituents. I'm Senator Gov, Lysander J. Gov. I'm running in today's primaries for re-election. Have a cigar, brother.
Thank you, Senator. Reckon prosperity's just around the corona.
What this country needs is a good 5-cent cigar. You got one there. I trust you'll remember me at the polls today, my loyal supporter.
I'm for you, Senator, but I can't vote.
Why not, my esteemed friend?
Well, reckon I'm just too lazy to get down register.
What? I've been wasting my time. Give me back my cigar, bum. I'll have to warn Vandenberg about this renegade.
Why, that Indian giver, I should have given what for, Ma.
You better figure what to give to Banker Hatfield. The mortgage is due today.
If this is Banker Hatfield, I'll give him what for, too.
Come in.
Good day, madam. This the residence of Zeke Allen?
Yeah?
Who be you, fancy pants?
I'm a government agent here to take the census. Have you two any children?
No.
Cattle?
No.
Automobile?
No.
Your bathtub inside or outside?
What's a bathtub?
What do you wash in?
What's wash?
Wash? Why, it's having water on you.
What'd I be doing getting christened at my age?
You mean to tell me that you two don't bathe?
If you mean let each other down, Zeke and me does it once a year.
Let each other down. Is that bathing?
Sure is. Once a year, Zeke and me meet at the well.
Yes.
I let Ma down.
Then I let Zeke down.
I see. Well, I'll get on to the next question.
Now, hold on, stranger. I'm getting right tired of you coming to Paul Pry around here.
But the government...
I ain't asking the government no riddles, am I?
No, but...
All I want to know about the government, I can read in my day. And according to my day, everything is peachy.
Now, you've got to answer these census questions.
Who says I gotta?
It's the law. As long as I keep asking questions, you got to answer them.
If I'm getting back to sleep this year, looks like I gotta stop the asking.
Here, what are you doing with that rifle, Rube?
That's your last question, Bub.
Vote every star.
Well, 'twon't be so lonesome now with three of us round the cabin.
No. Put the body behind the door, Ma.
Sakes alive, who's there?
Well, open the door, see.
Okay.
Good afternoon, folks.
Slim Hatfield, Paul.
Banking Hatfield.
Yes, and your creditor, Zeke Allen.
Well, reckon you're here to throw us out, Mr. Hatfield.
Well, your mortgage is due today, Zeke Allen, but I'm granting extension if...
If what?
My best friend, Lysander J. Guff, is running for senator today. If you vote for Lysander, you can stay on your land.
Senator Guff was here this morning, Mr. Hatfield.
I told him I couldn't vote because I want registered.
What? Well, that's fried your fat, Zeke. If you can't vote for Guff, you're getting off of the bank's land.
Come in.
Door be warm.
Well, that's that Rube, Zeke Allen.
Senator Guff, what are you doing back here?
It's an emergency, Lamb.
You mean the primary ballots is all in?
Yes, and a very embarrassing situation has arisen.
Lemke get elected?
No, the result is a tie.
Tie, Lysander?
Yes, 48 votes for me and 48 votes from a scoreless, unworthy, backbiting, mud-flinging opponent.
Tie. It's got to be broken, Lysander.
It's a must, Lamb. And there is only one man in Possum County who can break it.
Who's that, Senator?
It is you, my dear friend Allen. You are the only constituent in Possum County.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
The Fred Allen Show. An hour of smiles with Fred Allen, folks. 3,600 seconds of fun and music. Fun with our star comedian, Fred Allen. With our guest, Mr. T. He, one of the directors of Walt Disney's Pinocchio. Music with Peter Van Steeden, the Merrimack, and Win Murray. The time has come. It's the Fred Allen Show. Allen in person.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Say, Harry, I wish you hadn't brought up my 30th anniversary. You make me feel like an old man. Now, after all, I'm not creeping around the microphone here, am I?
Well, Fred, you're not exactly bounding around like a gazelle.
Well, I am not here for an Adagio audition, Harry. Although
Oh, that was a beautiful leap you took.
Nothing to compare with the leap I once took at the end of 13 weeks on the Linnet program. Well, when the occasion warrants, Harry, speaking about my senility, who's got croup? Is that in the orchestra?
I think that was...
We've asked you to stop bringing those people from the Croup Theater in here. When the occasion warrants, I can give vent to the fawn in me and frisk about like a centaur.
Like a centaur?
Yeah.
That's very good.
Centaur.
What is a centaur?
Well, many people think that a centaur is an interlocutor in a football line, but that is not true. A centaur, Harry, is a fabled monster who has the body of a man from the waist up, and from the waist down, the centaur is a horse. Is the picture clear?
Oh, yes. You're a centaur, all right.
Now, look, if I were a real centaur, Harry, and I walked up to you, you wouldn't know whether to shake hands or put $2 on me.
Well, never mind the centaurs, Fred. Is this really your 30th anniversary?
Yes, Harry. I made my first stage appearance doing a juggling act in 1910. By the time I had picked up all of the things I dropped that first show, it was 1912.
Oh, gee, things must have been a lot different back in 1910. Fred.
No, it's surprising, Harry. They were just about the same. In 1910, Mr. Hughes was appointed to the Supreme Court. He's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
In 1910, Woolworth opened his first store in England. Woolworth is still in business, isn't he?
Yeah, with that necktie you're wearing, you ought to know.
In 1910, I had no answer for that, so I left nothing. In 1910, I'm not kidding either. In 1910, Glenn Curtis flew from Albany to New York. Politicians are still flying out of Albany today, Harry.
That is correct.
In 1910, the big song hit was Come Josephine and My Flying Machine.
Why, the Merrimacs just sang that song on the program a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's what I mean, Harry. Everything is just the same as it was back in 1910, and that goes for me, too.
Oh, well, back in those days, Fred, you were an amateur.
Yes, everything's the same as it was back in 1910.
Imagine that. Phil Harris, a straight man, trying to get in. Yes, everything was the same. They come on here from We the People. They find out, don't they? A straight line here is better than that comedy on We the People. Give us that line again, a foundation for something that may come off.
Want to build
here.
up, Pete?
Yeah, give it to us again.
Okay, where was it? Well, back in those
No,
days,
not
Fred.
you. Give it to Pete. Just Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
Yes, everything's the same as it was back in 1910, Harry.
You see, his lines do not improve with age.
No better.
Yes, everything is the same as it was back in 1910. Everything but your salary, Mr. Van Steeden, and I'm going to attend to that tonight.
Oh, you're going to split the atom, eh?
Any kind of a line you give him, nothing happens. He can get accident insurance very cheap on his lines. Nothing will happen at the end. Well, doggone you, Van Steeden. I'm in a temporary rage. You do it every time. And now, the merriment having reached its peak, we turn to the latest news of the week. Ipana News presents The World in Review. Jamaica, New York. Jamaica Racetrack opens with new pari-mutuel machines replacing bookmakers as a result of recent state law. Pari-mutuels prove instantaneous success as 25,000 racing fans jammed Jamaica track and bet over $8,000 on the opening day. Ipana News visits the racetrack to get public's reaction to betting innovation. State Senator Bilbo Tweezer has some interesting statistics on prospective pari-mutuel returns. You have the figures, of course, Senator.
Yes, I've got them right here. Will you hand me the papers out of my coat tail?
Around here, yes, I'll be glad.
That's the worst of these swallowtail coats. A man with short arms can't reach anything in his back pockets.
Couldn't you get a pulley set in the seam or something? I'll get them right out.
Be careful of that bottle in there. It's whiskey.
Oh, you drink, do you?
As a duty. I'm cooperating with the mayor during the water shortage. I'm drinking whiskey.
But the water shortage is over.
Who asked you?
I'm sorry. Well, here are your figures, Senator.
Thank you. This Tweezer report on the pari-mutuel shows that everybody wins.
Everybody wins? How do you mean?
Well, during the racing season, $100 million will be weighted.
Well, how does everybody win?
The state collects $50 million in taxes. The state wins, right?
Right.
The racetrack collects $50 million in revenues. The track wins, right?
Right.
The little man who bets $2...
Little man wins?
He loses.
Ah, the little man loses.
Ah, but he wins.
But how? Now, wait a minute, Senator. If the little man loses, how can he win?
He can't keep betting his $2 forever, can he?
No.
He's got to go broke sometime, ain't he?
Yeah.
That's where the little man wins.
Well, I don't...
What does the little man do when he's broke?
I don't know.
He applies to the state for aid, don't he?
Yes, I guess he does.
The state gives him money, don't it?
Well, yes. Where
Where does the state get the money to give the little man?
You mean?
Right. From the $50 million little men like him lost to the track in the first place.
In other words?
It's a vicious circle. Everybody wins, including the horses.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Senator. How do the horses win? All a horse gets for running is a mess of oats.
That ain't hay, brother.
You bet, and thank you, Senator Bilbo Tweezer. A bookmaker who points out the pari-mutual shortcomings is Hot Horse Sam. Where do the pari-mutuals fall down, Sam?
Well, first, they ain't got no personality.
No?
A horse player don't get no kick out of beating no machine. With a bookmaker, he enjoys it.
Oh, the horse player dislikes the bookmaker.
It's instinct, like Damon and Runyon.
Oh, those historical characters.
Yeah, and another thing. With them machines, the lowest you can bet is $2.
Oh, and you, as a bookmaker, took smaller bets, did you?
Look, if I seen a little gray-haired old lady sneaking a buck out of her stocking, I'd tip me hat and say, "What's on your mind, Ma? A 7-horse parlay?"
No machine will extend that courtesy.
You said it, Butch. Why, if I seen a little boy with a dime in his hand running for a hot dog, I'd stop the boy, get him to put it on a horse. When he lost the dime, they taught him a lesson.
And thanks to you bookmakers,
old ladies and kids was getting action.
Well, thanks a lot. Francis, what are you doing now, Sam?
Oh, well, I'm laying low till them berry neutrals blows over.
You're not working?
Well, I got a little spot up in Poughkeepsie, you see. I'm opening a rabbit track.
Oh, you mean a dog track with the mechanical rabbit?
No. I'm racing rabbits. I wake it with an electric head of lettuce.
Oh, well, since you are an old horseman, Sam, tell me, who do you like in the Derby?
Well, I
say, who do you like in the Derby?
Oh, Al Smith.
I'll play him across the board, and thank you, Hot Horse Sam. A young lady who attended the track opening day was Miss Mavis Mildew. You were there, Mavis.
Hey, would you mind using my pen name? It's Bo Bell.
Bo Bell, you're a newspaper woman, are you?
Yeah, I'm fashion editor on the racing form.
Oh, I see.
You see, when a girl writes in a newspaper, you don't use your real name. You gotta coin up a nom de plume.
Oh, wait. Nom de plume?
Yeah, that's French for don't give your right name. So I'm Bo Bell.
And you say you are the fashion editor on the racing form?
Yeah, and I'm also running a dope column for ladies under the name of Feedbag Fanny.
Well, do you play the horses yourself?
Well, if I get a hot one, I'll go for a couple of skins.
Well, this is very interesting. But about the pari-mutuals. Can you give us my turn, wasn't it? I thought I had a show line. It was a place line there. Can you, about the pari-mutuals, can you give us the woman's angle?
Women around the racetracks is dope.
You've seen specific instances?
Yeah, the opening day. One dame hired a horse with scratch. She ran around to the paddock with mercuriochrome.
Imagine that.
Somebody yelled there at the post. 20 dames run out looking for Emily.
But society women is...
them dodgers make me laugh.
How do you mean?
I heard one old dame bragging about a mink coat. She set it down.
Yeah?
When the guy blew the bugle, the mink coat went to the post with 6 other horses.
Well, tell me, Bo Bell, did you select the best-dressed woman at Jamaica the opening day?
Yeah, I give her 4 fetlocks in my column Tuesday.
4 fetlocks? I've heard of 3.5 whipple trees in your column, but never... Well, who was the best-dressed woman?
Mrs. Divine Ledbetter of Tuxedo Junction.
Really?
She was the best-dressed woman coming and going.
Mrs. Ledbetter wore 2 different creations, did she?
Yeah, when she arrived at the track, she was wearing a gown by Skipperelli, a hat by Lucille, shoes by Janet, and furs by I.J. Fox.
What did Mrs. Ledbetter wear leaving the track?
A barrel by Rupert.
Thank you very much, Miss Mavis Mildew. A small horse player who feels quite strongly about the pari-mutuals is Tyler Vance. What is your opinion of this new system of betting, Mr. Vance?
Well, them pari-mutuals is all wrong.
Really?
Yeah. They shouldn't have thrown out the bookies. They should have thrown out the touts.
Oh, you mean by touts, you mean those guys who give horse players unwanted advice?
Damn bums. Well, let me tell you what happened just last Saturday.
Do.
I'm at the track. I'm at
That's right, and I got $10.
Yeah?
In the first race, I like Creole. I'm just getting me dough down.
Yeah?
A tout sticks his thumb in my lapel and he says, "Psst, buddy, lay off, Creole. Bet Wet Biscuit."
What happened?
Well, I plays Wet Biscuit, and Creole wins.
What do you know?
Yeah. The second race, I'm just about to play High Breeze. The tout says, "Psst, lay off a High Breeze, play Sitting Bull."
What happened?
I play Sitting Bull, High Breeze wins.
What do you know?
All afternoon, every time I start the bet, I'm grabbed by a tout, and he touts me off. Finally, I'm down to my last 60 cents. I gotta get home. I figure I'll buy my ticket to New York.
Yeah?
I'm on my way to the railroad station.
Yes?
The tout starts walking me over. I tell him I'm only buying a ticket to New York.
What happened?
He touts me off in New York. I end up in New Rochelle.
Well, thank you, Tyler Vance. Too bad you didn't stay there. Welcome. It wasn't worth the trip down, Tyler, really. Complaints may come and complaints may go, but the pari-mutuals are here to stay. The state can smile as it rakes in the tax money. The pari-mutual officials can chuckle as they get theirs. The winners can be gay. Thank you. While our guest of the evening is being slowly unveiled, I'd like to ask all of you to remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Remember Ipana, or the smile of beauty. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our guest star tonight. Oh, hello, Portland. Say, you're late.
Yes, there's such a crowd, I couldn't get through. The studio is packed.
Yes, do you know the man on the door told me that this is the biggest crowd they have ever had in here?
But why should the studio suddenly be crowded tonight? There must be a reason.
There is. Benny's picture opened at the Paramount today. And people have to go someplace. Apparently, they're coming in here.
Did you hear Jack's program Sunday night? Was he funny?
Are you asking me or telling me?
Well, Jack said...
I heard him. I know what he said. He said, I make people laugh with a pair of breakaway suspenders. Now, according to Benny, my suspenders break away, and gravity and my trousers commune.
Do your suspenders break away?
Now, look, I have got on the same suspenders I wear every week. Now, look at this. Do these suspenders break away? I'm taking an awful chance, though. This could turn out to be Minsky's with no trouble at all. Do then my suspenders break?
No.
Well, that debunks the Benny propaganda, I guess.
But Jack said you had applause written on your underwear, too.
And I shall debunk that underwear tonight.
Mr. Allen, you're not going to take off.
Now, don't worry, Portland. It's warm tonight. I happened to take off my underwear before the show started. And fortunately, I've got it right here. I've got it now. Applause written on my underwear. Well, there you are. Where's my place here? There you are. These sight laughs are no good. Your sight goes away from the thing here. Well, there you are, Mr. Benny. We fling the lie in what's left of your teeth. A man who will stoop to underwear for libel fodder is, see who that is, will you, Harry?
Yeah, sure, Fred. Oh, thank you. Oh, say, you better wait, son. There may be an answer.
What is it?
It's a note, Fred. It's open.
Open this? Oh, read it, Harry.
Yes, it says, Dear Fred, how are you, pal?
Yeah?
The new cinema masterpiece, Buck Benny Rides Again, is now playing at the Paramount Theater to tremendous business.
Wait a minute.
9 Farms at 9th Avenue.
That's not a person.
Signed, Jack Benny.
Oh, wait a minute.
P.S.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. They can't pull that stuff on this program. Let them put it up. Why, that Macy's Basement Cowboy? Who brought that commercial over here?
The boy's waiting for an answer, Mr.
Well, bring
Allen.
the boy in here. I'll send Benny an answer. Why, that nobody can tell me. Why, it's Rochester.
Oh, Mr. Allen?
Why, so you brought that letter from Benny, Rochester.
I cannot tell a lie. I did it with my little fetches.
What? Well, why did you have to bring the letter all the way over here? Why didn't Benny mail it?
It was 2 cents against the wear and tear of my feet, and here I am.
How do you like that? Rochester, that boss of yours is the cheapest guy alive. Why, I'm surprised he even brought you east with him on the train.
What train?
Why, the train from Hollywood to New York.
Is that train still running?
Well, of course it is.
Well, I'll be doggone. Mr. Benny told me they took that train off.
Why, of all that sheep...
Mr. Benny said the engineer saved his money. He said the engineer stopped running the train regular. He was freelancing.
Freelancing with the engine, huh? Well, how did you get here?
Mr. Benny took me down to the Lincoln Highway and handed me a compass.
Yes?
Then he said, Rochester, you know what Horace Greeley said. Reverse it.
And you had to thumb rides from Hollywood to New York?
Only in the daytime. At night, my thumb was a liability.
Why, that's the cheapest trick I've ever heard of. Now, confidentially, Rochester, have you ever seen anyone cheaper than Benny?
Well, so long, Mr. Allen.
No, you don't. Now, while you're here, I want to get the real, unadulterated lowdown on Benny.
I've got an option coming up.
Now, look, we don't want any true confession, Rochester, just a short, educational chat. You know how you run the household, what your routine is.
What you really want is my day.
That's it.
Well, all right. But don't let me say nothing derogatory about Mr. Benny.
You mean you are inclined to make an occasional slip?
Sometimes my subconscious bars my mouth.
Well, I'll watch it for you. Now, let's take an average day in the Benny household. Now, what happens?
Well, the first problem of the day is getting me up.
Who does that?
I've never been able to catch the party.
Well, after you are thoroughly aroused and dressed, what is your initial chore?
First, I wake up Mr. Benny. That takes a bit of doing.
You mean he's a heavy sleeper?
He sure hates to break it up with Morpheus.
I can imagine.
When other people's eyes are open, they're awake. That don't mean a thing to Mr. Benny.
He can still sleep with his eyes open?
He sure can. He's got short eyelids or something.
Well, after Benny is awake, what goes on?
I run his tub and strap on his water wings.
And after the master is bathed?
I assemble him.
You assemble him? Well, don't tell me you have to put Benny together every morning.
Mr. Benny's teeth and hair don't spring into place when he whistles.
Say, will you answer that phone, Harry?
Okay, Fred.
Excuse me, Rochester, the phone rang.
Hello? What? Oh, just a minute, Mr. Benny. Say, Rochester, it's for you.
See, here I come. Hello, boss. Now, take it easy, boss. No, sir. I won't spill another bean, Mr. Benny. Okay. Say, boss, you're all wrong about Mr. Allen. I've been here 5 minutes and I've still got my wallet. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll back out when I leave. Well, Mr. Allen, the interview is over. Good evening, friends.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That was Mr. Livingston, I presume.
Yes, and the boss was pretty mad, too. He says he don't like me telling his private business to strangers.
Well, he didn't threaten you, did he?
Mr. Benny's exact words were, quote, watch what you say or else, unquote.
Or else what?
Emancipation is having a revival.
Well, don't worry about Benny, Rochester. I can handle him. Now, let's get on with this expose. Now, after you get Benny assembled, what happens?
Mr. Benny tosses me for my breakfast.
You lose, of course.
With unceasing regularity.
Well, after you drive Benny over to Paramount and get back to the house, what's your next move?
In the general direction of the icebox.
You eat again?
Again is superfluous.
Taking liberties with the syllables. That's right. Well, this time you eat your fill, and when you finish...
I put an IOU in the icebox. Then I wash the dishes in the swimming pool, sweep out the house and the hurricane cellar.
The hurricane cellar? Well, you don't have hurricanes out in Beverly Hills, do you?
No, sir, but we have bill collectors.
I get it. When creditors come around, Benny hides in his hurricane cellar. Is that right? Is that right, Rochester?
That ain't the phone ringing, is it?
Oh, forget about that. Guy Benny can hide from his creditors, but he can't hide from those bills that come in by mail. Now, what becomes of that avalanche of bills?
That ostrich has got to eat something.
You mean that Trudy depends on bills for her sustenance?
That bird is eating so many please remit she's laying eggs in her sister's name.
Rochester, old boy, say no more. You have divulged. Your word cameo of Benny is complete. Why, the man is a monument to avarice.
If that's for me, try the Savoy Ballroom.
Well, what can Benny do now? Go ahead, answer the phone.
Okay. Hello? Yes, boss. Now, take it easy, boss. Yes, I know what happened to Benedict Arnold.
Don't let that guy bully you. Why don't you quit that nail, Hetty Green, and get a real job?
Is that an offer?
Yes, that is an offer. I could use a good man around the house.
It won't take me 2 minutes to write up my references.
Well, how would you like to work for me?
Define that word work, Mr. Allen. Much depends on that.
Well, there's nothing to do. You won't have much work around the house.
That's what Mr. Benny said.
You have Thursdays off, Sundays off, holidays off?
Mr. Benny said that, too.
Now we come to your salary.
That's where Mr. Benny stopped talking.
Say, that reminds me. What does he pay you, Rochester?
Well, Hello, boss. No, I ain't telling, boss. I'm just as much ashamed of it as you are. All right. I won't take Mr. Allen's offer. Why do I listen to him? Well, I can dream, can't I? Okay, thank you, boss.
Well, Rochester, how about my offer?
It's too late, Mr. Allen. Mr. Benny's taken up my option. I guess I'll stick to him.
Well, everything happens for the best. Without you, Benny wouldn't be Benny. Of course, that would be an improvement. But I know you'd rather stay with him.
Yes, sir. Mr. Benny might be frugal, but on him it looks good.
All right, Rochester. I'm glad your boss let you come over tonight. I certainly appreciate this visit. You're doing a swell job on Jack's program, and I hear confidentially you're great in his new picture. And we all wish you every success for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Good night.
Good night, and thank you.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we usually have the question of the week. But today is Fred's 30th anniversary, and there's a gentleman in the studio audience tonight, a very special gentleman. A gentleman well known to all of you, a great friend and admirer of Fred's. Ladies and gentlemen, I take great pleasure in present...
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say presenting to you Major Edward Bowes.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, Major Bowes was here the first program, Harry, but unfortunately the Major hasn't been well lately, and he had to go home earlier this evening and won't be able to be here to congratulate me this show. But
well, I congratulate
now, wait a minute. I know, but you're not the Major, after all. On the Crosley, socially or financially.
But just so that our show to the coast will sound like the other show, we have a man who's been in the business as long as the Major, who is going to read the Major's lines not as he read them, but the same lines, and that'll make the time come out all right. The sentiment may be lacking, but the time will be on time anyway. But, Harry, Uncle Jim has kindly volunteered to read. Major left his script here, and Uncle Jim is going to read. Now, you're the Major, Uncle Jim. I'll give you the Major's line as I threw it to him as only I can throw it. I threw the line to the Major a little short. He had to stoop over and get it, but I'll give it to you the full length. Good evening, Major. It's certainly a surprise to see you here, and very nice of you to come.
Fred, it's nice to be here.
Don't read it like the Major. I mean, get it. Somebody might be listening on the coast, a Shell Oil or somebody. You might get a show on this. I tell you what, give us half of the Major and then give the Hawkins the last half.
Thank you, Fred. Fred, it's nice to be here, but in all fairness, I feel I should make a confession. This is the first time I've ever listened to your radio program in the studio.
Now, see, the Major got a laugh on that. I don't know what's the sound. He must have mugged. He had the bifocal. Looked up and...
I rarely miss it at home. Yours is such a pleasant program. It's always so happy, so gay. It's always such fun. I've never heard you say an unkind thing or give utterance to an unpleasant thought. And I always laugh at your jokes, Fred. That is, nearly always.
The Major murdered them with that.
Yeah, he killed them. I know, Fred. Fred, I know the hours of...
straight man all your life.
Fred, I know the hours of thought and anxiety that you put into your program in your desire to justify the faith of your listeners and your sponsors. But whatever the labor, Fred, it's worth it. For the good it does, for the cheer it brings, for the happiness it spreads in every city, town, and hamlet throughout the land. Your program time is tonic time to me. Fred Allen, at the end of 30 years, your star is
you made
still...
a cut in there. What do you mean? What is your cut?
Bill, you want to go through the top?
Well, listen, what do you mean? Now, you're supposed to infer who cut out. Mr. Shaw? Is Bill Shaw here? Bill
did it.
Where's Bill?
He's hiding in the control room.
Now, you're supposed to be impersonating the Major, and you deliberately make a cut.
Shall we put it up to the top?
Well, I know. Now, it's too late now. The thread, the storyline is distorted. But how would you like it if I were impersonating Amos and Andy and only did Andy? I mean, same thing. Well, go ahead.
Fred Allen, at the end of 30 years...
We got enough time. Maybe you don't have to go to the... How's the time going? Got all we want? All right, well, just give us the end for old time's sake. Well, all right, never mind. I'll take it up from there. Thank you, Uncle Jim. You said so many nice things, and that reminds me, I had a cheap gag that was cut out of the Benny routine that I might as well put in now. We cut the thing out. That Benny was so cheap, at night he kisses a harp to save buying dental floss. We cut it out of the first show, and I'm glad that we didn't mention it here because, as you see, it wouldn't have gotten anything. Well, thanks a lot, Uncle Jim, for helping us murder these few minutes. Now, could we get a cord to get out of this? How do you get out? That's right. If the Major knew that was going to happen, he'd have stayed out of bed, wouldn't he? But all right. Now, those animated station breaks. The Mighty Allen Art Players. Tonight they present a drama of domestic deceit entitled He Caught His Wife Kissing a Stranger, or One Man's Mate is Another Man's Poison. Overture, Professor. The scene, the home of Cuthbert Allen, the girdle tycoon. Time, the present. Cuthbert Allen is just entering the living room. Lorraine, my darling wife, goodbye.
Oh, Cuthbert, husband, must away so soon.
A man in the girdle business has to get around, darling.
Business, always business.
Well, goodbye, Lorraine.
Hold it, Ellen. Stop that sketch.
Now, wait a minute. Is that somebody heckling? Who is this?
It is I, Ellen.
Oh, a college man, hey? What is the big idea of stopping our play?
Now, hold your horses, Ellen. Come up, gentlemen.
Okay, TV.
Come in, TV.
Say, what is this? Who are you three guys?
We're from the advertising agency presenting this program, Ellen. I'm Bert.
I'm Kurt.
I'm Jake. Bert, Kirk, and Jerk, the new radio planning board.
Well, if you're advertising agency men, where are your memo pads?
We're incognito tonight.
Oh,
check Kirk.
Check, Bert.
Check Jerk.
Check, boy.
Now, look. Wait a minute. Look, fellas, I'm right in the middle of a sketch.
And that is why we're here, Ellen. The planning board, Bert,
Kirk,
And Jake.
is checking up on all of the agency's radio programs. We're constantly planning new features. Your sketches recently have not been hitting on all six.
Yeah, they haven't been ringing the bell.
They've had nothing on the ball.
There have been complaints.
Yeah, there's a rumor rampant that your art players haven't gotten a laugh since that eagle broke loose.
Yeah, why can't you release an eagle every week?
Well, eagles are deceitful. They rehearse one thing and do another.
Well, however, that is beside the point. Now, our planning board, Bert,
and Jake,
is here to improve your sketch material. Now, what is this skit you're doing here tonight?
Well, it's nothing. A little domestic drama. It's about...
No, that won't do. It lacks humor.
There's no suspense.
it drags at the end.
Well, you haven't heard it yet.
Yes, that's right. We work so fast, we're getting ahead of you. Now, I'll tell you, Alan, here's what you do.
Now, let's have a quick run-through of the sketch.
Right. If it makes us laugh, you can do it on the air.
Oh, now, look, this sketch is 40 minutes long. We haven't got time to audition the whole thing.
Okay, condense
Yeah,
it.
boil it down.
Give us the meat of it.
Yes, and if we like it, you can go ahead with the show.
Well, all right, sit down, boys. We'll run through a brief synopsis for you.
Yeah,
Give us that overture again, Peter. The scene, still the home of Cuthbert Allen, the girdle tycoon. Cuthbert again enters the living room.
Lorraine, my darling wife, goodbye.
Oh, Cuthbert, not away so soon.
A man in the girdle business can't wait for his hips to come in. Rather good, that.
You're a card, Cuthbert.
That's what I keep telling them down at the office.
And what do they say?
Oh, they just laugh and say, you stole it from Bob Hope. Well, goodbye, dear. I shall be back Saturday.
Goodbye, Cuthbert. Thank heavens he's gone at last. Now to release my lover from the closet. Come out, Drexel. The coast is clear.
Lorraine, my dream girl.
Drexel, kiss me, my Adonis.
Prepare your pretty pocket.
Darling.
I'm back. I forgot my cane. My wife.
My husband.
My hat.
Drexel Scurvy. You, my best friend, kissing my wife.
Lorraine loves me, Cuthbert. Go, leave us be.
What?
Here is a nickel. This will take you to the Bowery. You can become a bum.
Why, you insulting dog? Take this.
Don't shoot, Cuthbert. Oh!
I did.
Cuthbert, you've killed him.
Drexel Scurvy went too far, Lorraine.
You mean he was taking me out of your life?
Oh, it wasn't that. The dirty rat gave me a lead nickel. Well, there you are, gentlemen. What's your verdict?
That sketch won't do it.
Yeah, it's too corny.
It sounds like something Orson Welles might have written as a boy.
Now, wait, this sketch is surefire. It hasn't missed for 20 years. What is suddenly wrong with it now?
Well, frankly, I don't know. It's head of the planning board of Bert Kirk.
And Jake.
I'll have to ask for comment. Kirk, what was your reaction?
Well, it lacks color and charm. The public today wants stories like Gone with the Wind.
Kirk is right, Alan. People always enjoy a drama laid in the old South.
Yeah, where one character says to the other one, shoot the yam to me, Sam.
All right. Now, we can do that same sketch you just heard in Gone with the Wind style.
Oh, yeah.
See how you like this, boys. Some Southern music, Peter. Scarlet, my magnolia bud, yaw. I'm leaving yaw.
But I'm hungry, Red. There ain't no food in the house.
I'm getting food for you, Scarlet. Some man's inviting me and my regiment to lunch.
Picnic?
Selznick. Well, goodbye, y'all.
Alone at last. Now to get my Lanny pie out of the closet. Red's gone, sugar.
Scarlet, my mint julep.
Ashley, my Planters punch with an egg in it.
I've got a surprise for you all, Scarlet. It's food. Look.
Ashley, a can of soup?
Yeah.
Kiss me, my hero. Sugar, darling.
I'm back, y'all. Scarlet.
Red.
Jeepers.
My best friend, Ashley Wilkie, is kissing my wife.
Scarlet loves me, Red Butler. Skedaddle.
Not skedaddle.
Yes, skedaddle. And take this can of soup with y'all.
Why, you two-timing hound, take this, y'all.
Oh, y'all.
Oh, Red Sugar, you killed Ashley.
He went too far, Scarlet.
You mean giving you a can of soup to replace
Oh, it
my
wasn't
heart?
that. Look at the label on this chair soup.
Why, that insulting Red.
That's why I shot him. That traitor had the nerve to offer me, a Southern gentleman, Yankee bean soup.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.